Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Round 8 League of Legends Northern Territory Esports League. I am Blade Say, joined here by none other than Django. Why don't you...
What's up, NTEL Esports family? What's cracking?
Family, we are a small region and I'm loving all the interaction we get in the chat week to week. Love seeing these people turn up early as always. Chris Glennon, of course, been in the scene so long, but that's enough shout-outs. We didn't get too many out the way, but we got Champ Select to transition into right now. Already kicked us off here. Perfect timing from the captains. Love it. Love when things go as planned.
On the 6 o'clock dotter. You love to see it. Bit of organisation. Who would have thought? Let's go.
Yeah, something we're not always consistent with, but it's good to see. It's good to see. But now we're seeing something we normally see versus job seekers. That strategy hasn't really changed for a lot of teams, honestly.
Diana, here it comes. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. Give me the Diana ban. There it is. Oh, you'll love to see it. Will Chris Strider ever get to play his champs, man? It feels so bad.
Yeah, it happens yet again, but they're taking off some other champions on the side of job seeker. Tom Kench, I think that champion's pretty disgusting, even in the support role, but most importantly that top lane. I'm not sure if you've had much experience in it. We've seen it in professional being absolute menace.
Oh, it's so gross, man. It's been so hard to deal with. The champion, can now just permanently shield himself, and I don't know what I'm meant to do about that. Every time I try and do damage to him, he basically makes that health back in the trade just by me having to do damage to a shield. He's saving himself half the damage I do to him all the time. It's so painful. I tried building Serpent's Fang, and I just entered. I just had not enough health. It's impossible. Yeah. I don't know what you do against that champ.
Yeah, it's not too much counterplay at the moment. A lot of champion, you just have to pick a champion that really specializes at those long trades and, have some sort of outplay value onto some of his kits, but he seems like he just wins majority of the matchups there. Maybe just try to pressure him early with the jungle ganks before he's able to just become invincible, and maybe you can set him behind and get something going. But job seekers have first picked away Morgana here, and most likely going into the support role. We haven't seen it in jungle quite some time. We have seen it mid lane once, I believe, this tournament, but
yeah, it might have even been easy, Doctor. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I like the Morgana first pick. The Morgana first pick is so sick. You lock in your support, which isn't a super vital role to get a counter pick on, but now you're basically forcing the team to not really take a hard engaged champ. You can't take the Blitzcrank, you can't take the Thresh, you can't take the Nautilus. Any of those super strong picky hook champs, all the stun champs are kind of nullified by this Morgana first pick. It's really good. A really big fan of that one.
Yeah, and big fan of the Trundle pick here, because even though it's not really doing too much as of now, we know Noobless loves to play champions like this Cho'Gath. He's hovering in the top lane, and it's immediately it's a bit nullified by the Trundle. It's not going to be as invincible as it usually is with that ultimate being available in the game. So I wonder if that's going to really affect Noobless and how he's able to play a lot of the team fights before, because a lot of the time he's just standing in that front line being the invincible tank that job seekers need him to be. But it's going to be a lot harder with the Trundle being in that game. And of course Viego, no slouch at taking down some of these chunky champions himself, and boy, if he gets control of that Cho'Gath after taking them down, it's going to be really difficult for job seekers to deal with. But they've locked themselves Hecarim as well.
The Hecarim's really nice into the Viego too, both the lanes kind of get a lot of pressure and can do some crazy ganks. But just coming back to the top lane, it's actually it's a really simple thing, but it's a good chance for some skill expression in both lanes, because Trundle can really bait out the Cho'Gath with his bite, obviously getting that huge heal, especially after he gets Sundara, and faking out Cho'Gath for the bite when it's not going to execute. Trundle's just going to get a bunch more health back and can win the fight that way. It's happened to me more times than I can admit in that matchup.
Yeah, not to mention, Cho'Gath isn't really the most mobile champion, and Trundle isn't really either, but he's got enough movement speed to definitely maneuver around those Cho'Gath abilities, and if he drops a pillar behind Cho'Gath, it's really hard for that Cho'Gath to do much about. He's basically fight or die there, and with a Viego on the enemy team, it's definitely going to be some gank threat coming through on the top lane, and Trundle's not even bad in the 1v1 himself. I can definitely see Trundle given Cho'Gath some trouble in this matchup. So excited
Yeah,
to
with
see.
Sunderer, he's gross in the 1v1. And it's going to get even more move speed with the Sivir pickup, which will be good to see in the late game. See Trundle and Viego diving onto those backline carries.
I believe we got some Sivir buffs this patch. There was nothing crazy. I believe they just adjusted some of her minor issues there. Like I think it was like a W buff or something. It was nothing crazy.
Yeah, it was her Ricochet buff got buffed to the late game. I think it now does 90% damage on the Ricochet at max level.
Yeah,
So, coming into the late game, when she gets like all of her crits, she's still gonna be putting out even more damage than she used to with her ricochets now. So,
yeah.
I don't think this is necessarily the team where everyone's gonna be grouped together just to get every ricochet off on every team member, but it'll be good nonetheless, especially for clearing waves if they do fall behind.
Yeah, and I do probably want to see an attack speed build. It's not traditionally what you see on Civ these days, but into the sort of composition you're facing right now, you definitely want people to be able to take down that Cho'Gath and Hecarim. Right now, they've got an okay amount of damage in their team, but just having that guaranteed source of damage on that Sivir, being able to just wail away on this Cho'Gath would be
Yes, some
crucial.
big beefy boys, and we're seeing the Soraka come out to be patched with that Sivir as well, which is really good. Soraka's going to be able to move super fast, be able to heal this Trundle when he goes in now as well. It's a nice team comp rounding up, but the side of Jobseeker's Alliance is starting to look real tanky. The Cho'Gath and the Hecarim can be so hard to deal with once they start to get some of their core items as well, and now they're finishing off the team comp with the high damage Irelia.
Yeah, Aurelia in the mid lane for sure here. That Nublis is definitely on that Cho'Gath, and Chris Strider's dabbling with the Aurelia here with the Rise counterpicked into it. I do believe that's a definitely winning matchup for Aurelia. If Rise manages to get to around first item even, he starts to scale up a bit better. He can fight for himself, but just in the 1v1, it's so hard to beat Aurelia on most champions in the game.
Yeah,
Definitely
once
good.
she stacks her passive, she just starts doing so much damage, right? And obviously, Rise is gonna take the move speed mastery. I forget what it's called.
Phase
Phase
rush.
rush. So he might have a bit of an opportunity to, try and kite out this Aurelia and get some good Q poke happening and maybe even a few snares. But at the end of the day, Aurelia's just going to slow you and stun you herself, and she's queuing on top of you and dodging all of your abilities. So yeah, definitely a hard matchup for EC Doctor. Hopefully we can see some Chris Strider skill expression tonight. I'm back on the Job Seekers train. They're coming up. We're going to get some fat dubs tonight. Let's go, Job Seekers.
But yeah, overall, really do like the drafts drafted by both teams. It really does play to Job Seeker's strengths. Again, they're picking their key champions. Misfortune did amazing last week for them. Cho'Gath's always been performing well. Hecarim's just fits Sergeant Crone's aggressive playstyle so well. And yeah, just having that extra pressure in the mid laner for the key play on Chris Strider is definitely going to help him out. And of course, Zonox sliding into the support role, which he's not normally in for that team. We'll see how he's able to adapt to that role this game. And yeah, really adaptable team composition on the side of AD Astra. Very mobile for a lot of champions that aren't really mobile. No like crazy flashes or hook shots or anything like that. They're just got a lot of move speed and a lot of engage with the Trundle pillar and potential Viego W's, stuff like that. Looks
Yeah,
pretty good for the side of ADA if they're playing front to back here. So excited to see how it goes, but of course,
just thinking about how those team fights play out, they might even get forced into like more of a kitey comp. Maybe Trundle goes down early, but the Sivir alternate just has so much value there. We can just kite back constantly, have so much move speed. Even if you stop to kite, you make up so much room just with the massive move speed increase. Rise and Sivir and Soraka should be able to, do a lot of kite and a lot of surviving in these fights to keep them going. It'll be interesting to see how they play out. It's really going to come down to the lanes, I think. If job seekers can, prove themselves to get ahead really early, I think, will probably take this game out. But if we get to the late game where Rise and Sivir start to do some huge scaling, we might see an upset here tonight.
yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot harder for them if they are even in this game and it starts coming over to those objective fights. We're not seeing much clean engage on the side of Job Seekers. The main thing, Hecarim, I'm looking at with a beautiful ult maybe, but if you leave champions like Soraka untouched in the team fight, you are going to pay dearly. Chan has played the Soraka before and had absurd healing numbers, and if they're not able to punish that this game, then they're going to be in a world of hurt. So we'll see if they're able to find maybe some cheeky bindings. If Chris Ryder can find some teleport flank system, ways they can get in there to start the fight with this kite comp. But we are going to go over to our sponsors real quickly before the game starts here. Major sponsors of the season: Paul's Iced Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin, supporting us so much. Major sponsors helping us out. They're helping fund events like one I'll touch after the minor sponsors, but we'll just get onto them right now. Next tier: Entertainment, Serotonin Beauty, VR Gamers, Gaming Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Howard Springs, Rabbit Hole, Palace of India, Freshpoint Cafe, John John's, Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting, all helping us out so much. Special thanks to Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, as well as Next Tier Entertainment, as well as in the poster here we have the GG Social Club setting up this press start. Northern Territory Esports League mid-season party. It's going to be at the Tracy Village Club there. It's on this Saturday. It's crept up on us real quick. We were telling you guys about it, but yeah, this Saturday. I hope you guys are ready for a bit of a party at this event here. I've already got some other parties lined up this night, and I got to attend this one as well. Hopefully, I make it out of that night alive, guys.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there as well. It'll be good to catch up with all the players and, you know, see all the other operators for that are happening in all the other games. Obviously, you know, NTGE doing so much gaming and esports. There's heaps of tournaments happening all the time. We've got the fighting games and Rocket League as well. It's going to be a lot of crazy fun on the night. Good to see everyone again after it's been so long. Haven't been able to do too many events this year, obviously, with COVID and lockdown and stuff like that. And it should be good to get back on the beers.
Yeah, guys, if you're on the fence, just come. There's got to be something there you're going to enjoy. Karaoke, video games, board games, and some esports tournaments on the side for some other games like Super Smash Bros. I know a lot of people love to just dabble in that. So many people are going to be having fun there, and at the end of the day, I think David Moore's there, and he's looking to just give away back to the community, and he's probably got some goodies there, maybe to give out some vouchers and whatnot. But honestly, David's just such a good bloke that he'll probably shout you a drink if you meet him at the competition. So make sure you come on
he's
down.
Definitely
guys.
going to now after that shout out.
He said
no
it himself.
getting around it.
He's just trying to give stuff back to the community. What a good guy. Let's try and make this event successful and give a little back to him. So, with that out of the way, we can get into our gameplay here. Just in the loading screen.
Still loading in. Yeah, cool. I'm just still at 90% here.
But yeah,
wait for this one to crack on. I think Guillotine might be a player to watch this game. You'll have to remind me. I might have missed a game or two, but I'm not sure I've seen Guillotine on Viego yet.
No, I haven't seen this Viego at all, and he strikes me as a player that's pretty adaptable. His champion pool has been pretty decent this tournament, so I can definitely see him thriving on a champion like Viego, of course. It's pretty important to have all the champion knowledges when you're playing something like Viego, because if you're a bit slow on the patches and all of a sudden you've possessed Ikshan and you don't know how to use Z at all, you might just straight up run it down. There are a lot of crucial moments where you need to know what you're doing on Viego.
Yeah, that's true. But overall, I think Guillotine has been one of like the most oppressive and aggressive junglers we've seen this year. And it just seemed what he's going to be able to do in this Viego, it might be the difference maker. It could be, you know, the difference between this Cho'Gath being like 10 stacks at 25 minutes or, you know, Trundle absolutely dominating the Rift. We know he loves to camp his top lane, and Sergeant Crone has also, you know, been a pretty decent jungler too. He's had his moments where he's like really pulled it off as well. It'll be interesting to see where he kind of puts his priority this game. If he's going to try and be diving on this Sivir and Soraka combo, or if he's, you know, going to try and catch out this Ryze even more than this Aurelia should. Will be interesting. I think the junglers may be key this game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking to see some jungle action, but definitely do not look away from those lanes. Bot lane is probably the least boring, which is surprising because Jobseekers usually have a pretty aggressive bot lane, but outside of Stray or beautiful Morgana binding, we're probably not going to see too much action. It's even harder when you go into the Sivir there, having that spell shield active. But we've always seen Nooblis play aggressive in his lanes. There's plenty of solo kills. Sometimes it happens to him himself, but he still brings the aggression, and I love to see it. And Chris Strider being on a very aggressive pick into this matchup. But it has to be noted that there is a lot of gank set up on basically both sides. So yeah, those junglers are going to probably explode into these lanes, like mid-top I'm looking at specifically. to just have a lot of the jungle attention this game. So hopefully we see some action here during laning phase. But
Yeah, it's bound to be a good game. I'm just getting in now. I'm at 5 seconds.
yeah, I'm at 7, 8,
8,
9.
9. Sounds good. Yeah, the flames coming out in the chat already. It looks like Sergeant Crone might be having some connection issues. He was a bit slow on the loading screen. Shout out to your Windows 98 computer.
Windows Vista, Windows XP, you know, shout
Yeah,
outs to those.
love that. And unfortunately, I don't think he quite loaded. I guess he still probably got in here late. Didn't quite get there in time. They've got a nice wards in the tri-bush. Not too much happening. I guess they couldn't have known Sergeant Crone was still in base. But, you know, if they had a team there, they might have been able to pull something off.
Yeah, there's something I find particularly interesting. Just at the middle, at the start of this game here, we've seen the Civ build tier, and that's nothing crazy when you go the lethality side of things, but it doesn't really strike me as he's going lethalities if he's taken lethal tempo, because a lot of them opt to pick up that Dark Harvest for that extra burst and get those assassinations with those backline Qs, but he's gone for the lethal tempo here, which makes me think he's going just attack speed, but maybe he's just opting to pick up a little bit more mana, because Siva, if you ever play her, is quite mana hungry in that lane there. If you're not landing those consistent spell shields, you'll probably run out of mana really fast in this champion, so maybe he's just looking for some extra help there.
Yeah, well, starting the tier as well. Probably these people maybe just going like a bit more on hitty or something. I'm not too sure. Maybe the crit build might be the way to go for this one with the recent W buffs. I imagine Ultimate Feeder's probably played it more than we have. Maybe he's got something we don't know.
Yeah, either way,
I've just got a little freeze here at the moment.
Ooh, well, once you get that fixed up, I'm at 153, 154.
Alright, let me catch up. Alright.
Yeah, nothing really to be caught up on, just standard starts for both jungles. Just a little bit of trading going on, but these champions can handle the trades. Aurelia heals up quite a lot. These champions in the top lane heal up quite a lot. Expecting to see a lot of trading, but not too much action until those levels come through. Once we start seeing some level 3s and everyone has their abilities up, we might see some crazy action go through.
Yeah, we're seeing Chen come out with the aggressive Soraka. That's what you like to see. Getting her on the Q start and just like dropping these huge starfalls on the enemy lane. I love to see it. The aggressive Sorakas can be so entertaining to watch. Considering people think of her as like this, you know, really squishy champ, but when she's just healing constantly, she can be a real nuisance to deal with in lane.
Yeah, not being able to take her down in one shot, she actually has a lot more effective HP over that fight, but I just think in the laning phase especially, she's so deadly. She's able to walk up and land Qs consistently, because that ability heal is just a ridiculous amount if you do land it, so I often just like dodge it at all costs. Do not get, like, if you're walking up to a minion to trade or do an auto attack trade like Shortmaster just did, he's definitely on the net loss gain on that side, because you're probably healing like 150 health from that striker for landing that Q, and the MF only deals a little bit. But here we go in the top lane. Nooblis caught out by that pillar. He's got flash, but nowhere to go. It's just a freebie picked up by Curateam there, and that's just because a slight window. He's ahead of the enemy Hecarim there.
Yeah, just getting that lead. I think Hecarim's gone for the scuttle. It's not down there. Oh no, I think Curateam got it there as well.
He has no flash here. He has goes. Might have an opportunity, and yes, he gets the possession now. And Chris Strider's in a bad spot here. Curateam doing so much early game for this team already.
Oh, the Q missed on the flux. It might have been enough. Yeah, but easy Doctor and Curateam getting so far ahead. Just like we expected from Curateam. It's just like the early aggressiveness. He's coming in, he's getting that top lane gank. He's contesting the scuttle after the gank, and then still picking up another kill on Sergeant Crone afterwards. Just exactly what we love to see from Curateam.
Yeah.
Also good to note that he's going to get the Cho'Gath this game. Does he get the bonus health from Cho'Gath passive when he takes the soul?
You have to get an execution with your ult. It's nothing like Silas where you can steal the ult and actually use it, so I don't think you'll be able to build any extra health, unfortunately.
I know you get the items back, but do you get the stats as well, like the health stats?
Yeah, you'll copy mostly everything that champion had stat-wise as you possess them.
Yeah, that could be huge in the late game too, you know, if Nooblis does get this really tanky build going.
Or Sergeant Crone going for a play for the Scuttle. He wants it, but Kiratine smites it away. Kiratine opting to just back off now with Chris Strider having that early rotation, but Kiratine still winning out there. Sergeant Crone just got. He did get the top Scuttle, but
yeah,
not
Kiratine had to go all in for that one, throwing out the smite just to secure a little bit of XP that he might have lost by giving up the Scuttle. Obviously, he's still out with the 2 assists he's on right now as well.
Yeah, definitely a good start for Kiratine there. That's just going to secure it. But basically the reason that happened top lane is one, obviously Nublis wasn't really playing around the gank. Obviously the gank setup with that Trundle Pillar is insane. The Diego just got a freebie there, but he didn't go for a tri-bush ward. He just dropped it in the river there. And a lot of time when you drop it in that river there, it doesn't give you enough early information. If you drop it into that tri-bush and you spot out the Viego, it gives you plenty of warning before he's in any reasonable distance to gank your lane. But having that river ward there gives you a lot less information. They're basically already behind you if you're playing up to the tower like that with that sort of ward. So Nublis has to be careful when he's placing those wards and where he's playing, because he did do the right job. He did ward, but unfortunately still was set up for that gank there, and Kiratine punished accordingly.
Yeah, Forsaken actually getting chunked out now. Oh no, Sergeant Crone getting caught out by the
Nublis
Rise
looking for
Roam.
the feast, and he gets it. Oh, the last tower shot's gonna hit him though, and he goes down. But still,
But you have to give the value over to Nublis there, right? There's a huge wave of Forsaken just sitting under his tower right now. He got the Cho'Gath stack as well. So even more trades happening in the bot lane.
yeah, and Kiratine's on the backside. They have to be careful. You see the pings coming out. They know it's happening, but we didn't quite see what happened there to Sergeant Crone. Kiratine finds another play onto them, and Easy Doctor with the ultimate rotation. They just cut off all routes of escape for that Hecarim, and he ends up dying there after taking that dragon. But
Yeah,
that's basically what happens.
Caught a glimpse while they were fighting the top lane that Chris Strider threw the ulti out. You can see it's on cooldown at the moment. He tried to go for an early engage, and Easy Doctor might have just flashed out of that and just roamed straight down bot and caught Sergeant Crone out in just like some, lucky timing. Good on them. It's paying off really well for them so far.
And this is interesting Chris Strider build. I don't believe we ever see this out of many Aurelias. Normally they opt to go for that Blade of Rank King first item, but he's actually gotten the Noon Quiver, which can only build into those mythics. And a lot of Aurelias do opt in for that shield bow, but they never pick it up first. So this is a very interesting, more defensive side. You're going to lose out a bit of that damage, but you're definitely going to, if you get that power spike of hitting that mythic, you're going to be sitting pretty as that Aurelia. So have plenty of plays to be made. Oh, and Sergeant Crone has not given up. He's going for the play.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for the dive. Forsaken has Bite, but another delicious feast for Nublis. Going to gobble up that Trundle. He's really starting to stack up. This is going to, this is the big fear that you want to hide. You don't want that Cho'Gath feasting as, the Trundle. It's going to make him increasingly difficult to deal with, and if it gets to the point where he can just run Rise and Viego down, it's going to be really tricky to deal with throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, and we're getting a bit more information on that Sivir as she's been farming away in the spot lane, is building towards that Manamune first item actually. It could transition into one of the lethality items, but I'm expecting to see that lethality Sivir now. Just taking the lethal tempo for a little bit of pressure in the lane, I suppose. Hitting that ricochet randomly in the lane can proc lethal tempo and give you a lot of lane control there, given you the attack speed. But yeah, interesting.
I think Chen knows here. I think they know they're kind of being baited out. She's going for the water now. Yeah, and there's the root. Another huge MF ulti. We've been seeing so many in the last 2 weeks. Was it Shortmaster playing it last week too?
I believe so, but I can't be. I believe it's Stairboys Blitzcrank that's always picking up the MVPs.
Yeah, that's right.
Shotmaster.
Yeah.
It's just these two switch roles so often. I can't confidently say it every time. Similar names too, making it hard for me. Just both starting with the S.
Yeah, it might have been Casuarina Gentleman too. Yeah, I think you're right.
But yeah, I definitely think it was Shortmaster's MF. They've found their power picks. This Nublis on his Cho'Gath already performing pretty well despite a bad start here, but Kiratine's trying to trade back. No flash onto Cho'Gath here. They might be able to pick this one up. He drops the ult really early on Kiratine just to get the damage down, and the damage he does there consumes the soul of Cho'Gath and is going to get some plates for his top laner on the top side of that lane there. So Nublis starts swinging back with the help of his jungle a little bit, but Kiritine's already there to equalize it, get his top laner back in the game. We'd love to
I
see.
just snuck a quick peek there as well when Kiratine took choke. Oh wait, sorry, it's a big gank happening in bot lane. A huge ulti from Sergeant Crone onto the Soraka, making her flee away. Unfortunately, Siva was a bit further ahead, just going to get caught out for that one. Chen did just drop a ward onto a pink, so they have to assume he's in the blue side, especially after hitting that trinket. She's got to be careful here. She is all alone.
And this is the importance of lane priority in the bot lane here. We might see Easy Doctor make a play, but no, he's just going to take out wards because we see the amount of vision they're denying on the side of Job Seekers here. They've dropped 2 pinks into that bot side river, so the jungler could come through that bot side anytime he wants, he can set up dives. Just having that lane push allows you to deny so much vision and just puts so much pressure on objectives like Dragon, but more importantly, allows your team to rotate for those plays without any vision being given over, so they had no clue that Hecarim could be there. And yeah, he just drops the ult behind them and picks up the easy kill.
And Kiritine's looking again, walking over a ward this time, but he's just going to drop that Herald instead. No vision of the Hecarim. It's a pretty brave drop pretty early on. I have to assume maybe he was going for a ward there. Didn't realize he had it.
For this bait here, Casuarina lands both of them. He lands the double E, lands the double ult, but Easy Doctor's going to try speed out of there with Phase Rush. They're pinging. Sergeant Crone's coming in with the Ghost, but is his team going to arrive in time? Easy Doctor's opting to turn around with the backup of his team, setting up for the Forsaken.
Nice.
Look how slow he is off of that pillar. He tries to get that Q onto Easy Doctor, but the flash out of range, and Kiritine's back with his ult available. Kills off Sergeant Crone.
And Zonok's getting there just a bit too late as well, it seems. Not too much going to happen for her. I guess she's probably just going to pick up some farm in the mid lane, try and hold that until Chris Strider can come back here. But that was a beautiful E from Chris Strider. Maybe just chased too far. A bit of greed. They knew they were in the top lane. The Herald was being dropped, but they thought they had a bit more damage than they truly did.
And I think Rise, if he plays it well there, he probably gets out anyway, but that's not normally the Aurelia combo you want to pull off. Hold that bot as we see a beautiful bullet time, but unfortunately allows it to get into smite range, and Shortmaster's trying to pick up this kill, but he's not quite there, and ends up going down to the alternate feeder, getting some gold in his pockets now.
It was so close to Shortmaster flash forward. Oh, she's been caught out. There's the root. I don't think she's escaping this one.
Yeah, no chance.
She had a flash, she was trying to get over, but maybe a bit of auto pathing got her there. Yeah, that was a great bullet time from Shortmaster there. Unfortunately, yeah, Kiratine hitting the smite, so she flash heals forward to Q Kiratine, so it will bounce onto the Trundle, but Chan just hitting a huge wish and a healing Forsaken to live that huge Q. Well played by Chan, really paying attention to the damage and what's happening on the map.
Yeah, but as I was saying before, I think that is a bit of champion inexperience on the Aurelia there, because normally when you land the double mark, you want to proc it with your Q before you apply another mark, because they don't stack on top of each other. So if you land the double ult, you probably want to Q them again and then use your ult to land the E's, what a lot of Aurelias do while they're stuck in that ultimate, or if they get hit by the boundary, they're slowed by a large amount. Hitting your E is very easy, so normally not chaining those abilities together, not quite efficient Aurelia use, but still got the play there onto the support. It's just, I think if he played that a slight bit better, he might have been able to pick up this Rise, which is pretty important. A shutdown onto the Rise here could equalize the gold out pretty well, but right now they're sitting around 2k gold down, and they're even in objectives, but I think being down gold versus champions like Siva and that Rise. Siva doesn't really monster scale with the lethality, but she's definitely a problem, so is that Rise. So they got to do something, and I think the biggest problem of them all is Kiratine on that Viego doing so well right now. I believe he's the richest champion in the game, just competing with Easy Doctor there. So he's such a strong force to be reckoned with this Viego, completing that Sundra.
Yeah, truly. And it's tough to say, but I think the scaling does go over to the side of Astra as well. I mean, the Rise, the Viego, and the Siva are just scaling so big. Not to mention the Soraka, who'll just be dropping the fattest heals in the late game. Yeah, I think Jobseeker's really starting to pick up the pace. They need to make something happen pretty soon.
And they're looking for a play bot side with this Rise. Not quite going to commit to anything though. Shortmaster has that MF move speed, allowing him to get well and truly around those super skill shots. And yeah, they're just going to go back to their lanes, but still so much pressure top side. There is no top tower here, so there's not much to really stop a fight from breaking out in this top side right now. Chris Strider's already on the rotate there, but Rise has that Realm Warp available to get into the fight if he needs. So yeah, just a lot of dancing on this top side. Casuarina playing around this top so well to keep him safe and allowing him to push in these waves, but right now they have an opportunity as they are split off right in the mid lane, and they're splitting off on the top side. They're going to end up going for that Rise. They get the fear in the right direction. Not quite landing the stun, but the ultimate lands really well, and that's Curtains for the Rise, finally picking up that shutdown.
Yeah, that's all she wrote for Easy Doctor there. It nearly got away, but, you know, Sergeant Crone using that fear really well and just running around to the front side of Easy Doctor, so the fear pushes him the other way, and then just nailing him with a great Aurelia ult. It's going to seal the deal there.
Yeah, that was a lot of gold going over to the side of Chris Strider, going to help him achieve that mythic power spike here, and Sergeant Crone is not done. He's going into the Forsaken now. Forsaken trying to do his best getaway. That's beautiful pillar. You see how slow they are. And
yeah, that's just great stuff. Forsaken really showing some experience on this Trundle. We don't see it in the top lane too often these days. I think you probably see it in the support role a bit more often than anywhere else. And you know, he's still playing it really well. He's getting some huge slows, which have been like instrumental to, you know, life or death for him when Sergeant Crone have been coming for these ganks.
Yeah, they're posturing for this dragon that's about to be spawning. I'm expecting to see a full-blown team fight here. We don't get too many of those in NTEL, unfortunately. There's a lot of skirmishes, but the game is normally well and truly decided by the time we get to see these big team fights. And just as I say that, there's a skirmish. Yes.
Yeah, a huge trade. It looked like Forsaken was going to go down there, but, you know, Chan and Casuarina right in the flanks, healing him up as soon as he can. And, you know, look, Forsaken was just about to die, and he's full health. Yeah. That's the power of Soraka, baby.
Yeah, Soraka getting some free healings. The healing on Casuarina, picking up all these souls. Trundle healing up with his passive. They need Grievous Wounds online eventually to have a chance with this composition at all. Sergeant Crone, you've got nowhere to go, buddy. Unfortunately, he's going to go down, and that is...
being blocked off by the Realm Warp there too. They've just blown so much, but they just took about 3 or 4 kills just moving down towards the dragon. It should be free. I think Casuarina's made the call to just take it himself. They're just going to go for the mid lane turret, which is good. You know, you shouldn't have all your resources in one lane when you can be taking so much more.
Yeah, it's good macro play here. Good for them to pick off those champions in the mid lane too. I thought we were going to see a full-blown dragon fight, but unfortunately we never get to see the 5v5. It's just so easy to make mistakes in macro game, and teams just always pounce on those opportunities. They had the numbers advantage. They just drive everyone down mid there with the setup of that Trundle, easily able to pick up those champions. You see, even though Chris Strider's flashing over walls, he's doing the best he can. These champions are just too mobile to get on top of you and finish off that kill here. So now Jobseekers have to find their way back into this game versus AD Astra.
Yeah, Easy Doctor looking for Shortmaster here. He found the W. He's found the stun, the snare there too, but Shortmaster's going to blow the heal and walk out. Yeah, she's going to stick around to try and catch the cannon wave that's coming in, but I don't know if she really gets that option. I guess her whole team is here. Might be a bit of a bait. But Easy Doc's just going to cop that. He's going to push that wave in, take a nice back. He's farming really well. He's, you know, level 13, 18 minutes. He's going to be really strong really soon. As soon as these items start coming in, he's going to be off his rails, mate.
Yeah, this Viego is opting into the Blow the Rune King. I can see it being somewhat good into the enemy composition he's playing into, but it's not traditionally what you see. Normally when you're going down to Divine Sundera build, you really just want to play around those Sundera pocs, not playing around any attack speed and trying to weave those autos in, just trying to proc that spell blade and building Bruiser just to ensure you're living the longest time possible and getting those Sundera procs off, but he's opting to just build some...
It's also just a bit inefficient too, isn't it? You're just buying mana. You have to get that Sheen, and obviously Viego has no mana. It's kind of just a bit of wasted gold there. I don't think that is the best buy for Viego.
I think it's the most popular option in Pro by far, but in solo queue, definitely the Kraken Slayer build with that attack speed, you have so much more playmaking potential, and you can really punish champions. Like this Cho'Gath right now would be absolutely melted by a Viego, and even though he has a Sunder, I'm still seeing him probably do a lot of damage. We'll see if he can get in on him. Trundle
Ultimate for the
him.
slow.
He has that red buff, has low cooldown stuns. This Cho'Gath has no chance of getting out away from these champions and is eventually going to go down. They're trying to make a play in the mid lane. Sidon Crone is actually 1 health. They're going to go for the chase here. Easy Doctor teleporting in, but nothing to be had there.
Yeah, on the hunt, but not finding any prey today. Yeah, unfortunate for Nublis in the top lane there. Maybe he should turn around and try and take that fight. I don't know. I guess, yeah, Viego is kind of tankier with the Divine Sunder, and obviously Trundle's got it too, so a pretty hard fight for him regardless. He needs a bit more vision in that jungle, perhaps. Might have saved his life there.
Yeah, this Hecarim is not really in a spot he wants to be so far behind right now. He's really not doing any damage, just tickling the Trundle there with that drive-by. Kiratine's sitting on so much gold off this back, even though his build isn't super efficient. I'm expecting to see this Viego do tons of damage. They're looking for a play onto the Forsaken here. They're going all in on him, but the team has collapsed here. And
yeah, a huge flash ult from Zonox, but everyone else kind of bailed as soon as they saw the rest of the team. Unfortunate having to blow those summoners in the ultimate there. And Easy Doctor is gonna, get some money back for that. He doesn't have the teleport up, so he's just been pushing the bot lane. He had no option but to, try and get something on the bottom side of the map. And no one died for it on the side of his team, so it's looking really good for him.
It's just the best play to make. You're getting solo experience, you're putting some pressure out onto the map, but most importantly, you're getting really fast towards that level 16 Rise Power Spike. Chris Strider looking for a play, and Kiratine's here though. They're going to try dive him, but that shield bow is going to keep him alive. He's trying to turn it back onto Kiratine, but eventually gets taken down. Easy Doctor has so much consistent damage, pumping out those EQs.
And the wish coming out just to save them at the very end too. Kiratine was looking a bit rough there, and might have been able to get run down by Nublis, but yeah, once again the Soraka coming in really clutch with a wish.
Yeah, it can't be underrated. A lot of people aren't picking up Soraka in this tournament, but yeah, if she's not played around correctly, she can absolutely stomp teams that don't know how to deal with her. And even if you do know how to deal with her, there's just a lot of compositions people draft that can't really get onto that Soraka without massive punishment. Just had
disgusting auto that just came out from MF there. He just autoed the Sivir in the mid lane for half his health when the Kraken Slayer procs there. Oh, it's so filthy. Misfortune does too much damage, man.
The Collector second is definitely going to help her take down those squishies, but unfortunately there's not too many of them. Fortunately, Viego doesn't have much armor built yet, but the Rise and the Trundle already itemized a lot, so she really wants to be targeting those squishies on the side. Look at that chunk out.
Crone's been stunned.
Yeah, they're looking for look at the beautiful pillar placement, just absolutely just corralling the side of Job Seekers.
Everyone. And on the hunt box, they've just dodged the bullet time
here they
completely.
go with the turnaround. Chan's in trouble. The Hecarim's going in onto them. They're trying to turn around. Kiratine's full health. He's got some resets here, looking to finish off this fight. They'll see his Aurelia mechanics. He lands the E, but he doesn't quite find that Viego ult. But Zonox is going to stick around. Now here comes the binding. Does he land it on that Hecarim? No, just out in time. But they managed to turn that one around really well there. But unfortunately, Kiratine's still standing at the end. One of the strongest members just going to stop you from getting any massive punish through onto the side of that.
4 for 4 in the end. It was a pretty good fight. I don't think Sergeant Crone wants this. Kiratine is doing so much damage.
He's just trying to bait, and I think it has worked beautifully there. 1,000 gold is so important onto the side of that MF now, and they're going to, most importantly, pick up that dragon to stop the scaling coming through. So what a turnaround there. Sergeant Crone flipped just rolled the dice there at the end to see if Kiratine would take the bait, and he does go for that.
Unfortunate. Kiratine kind of just losing to, the death timers there. Obviously, Shortmaster died pretty early in the fight while she had the bullet time out, so she's the first one up too. She's still pretty low level, so she's getting those quick short death timers as well.
Now,
unlucky for Kiratine.
All of a sudden, Misfortune finds herself being the richest champion in the game off of that 1,000 gold shutdown. It's going to catapult her to be able to carry this game. has to be very careful. Champions like Trundle she does struggle with, but into these squishier champions, especially since Kiratine's not building Bruisery, she's gonna be dealing massive damage to with this Collector, so they have to be careful around this Misfortune.
Yeah, that's very dangerous. Yeah, Shotmaster huge now. Kiratine really needs to try and get on her as quick as she can. Thankfully, she's pretty squishy. Maybe the GA is the next best item here for a Shortmaster. We'll see how she goes with that big 1,000 gold that she just picked up. She's got a collector now too. Definitely someone to be wary of. Forsaken kind of caught out here, but another great pillar is going to save his life there.
Oh, Chen eating the bullet time, but unfortunately not enough to take down that Soraka just yet. And that is a pretty big cooldown. I think is the only reason that team fight was won for the side job seekers was Shortmaster landed the perfect bullet time onto the side, basically hitting all 5 members of AD. Astra there, absolutely chunking them out. But not having that cooldown available, if they do opt in for another fight, it might be a lot more difficult for that Misfortune to carry it. But there's not much really to fight over right now, so I think they'll be getting away with it.
Yeah, and the game's kind of slowing down now. Now that the towers are kind of going down, it's becoming a bit more objective based. And Chris Strider hitting the stun, he's throwing the ulti out to try and slow Kiratine. Easy Doctor was there for the flank, but Kiratine's actually slaying Chris Strider. He's gone down for it. Oh no, sorry, excuse me, Chris Strider did kill. Wait, yeah, no, that's the Kiratine Aurelia. I'm getting baited by the map right now. Sergeant Crone's here now as well. Easy Doctor's still here.
This is just a bad play. He's not baiting for anyone. That's just an int from Sergeant Crone. He has to respect that he's lost this game. He has been jungle gapped in the early game, and now the lead is just too big. You can't go for plays like that on the enemy jungler when they're just so much stronger than you are. I don't think he has much experience into Viego.
Kiratine is putting so much damage out right now. Well, with obviously the Sundra, the Blade of the Ruin King, it is actually so disgusting. I feel kind of bad for Nooblis and Sergeant Crone. These champions are just getting run down. They don't really have, much of a way around this one.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I could see the damage up by Sundra, but not quite there, not showing me on the spectator. But I can imagine that Sundra has probably done upwards of 3,000 damage already on its own. Blade of the Ruin King probably has been doing crazy amounts of damage because it's been hitting these tanky targets consistently. So yeah, the buy is definitely paying off for itself right now. They're trying to hold on to this mid lane. There might be a little bit of opportunity. Rises on the wings, but look at Job Seekers, the entire team running down mid lane here, looking for the ARAM. They're just really waiting out.
Yeah, not gonna find too much on their side. I think they're just trying to hold up, their last remaining towers. I think if Astra go back on the split, they're probably gonna find a bit more success here.
Yeah,
I think Kiratine could definitely hold his own. Forsaken, when he drops the Frozen Domain, it just has so much movement speed to survive as well. I think that might be the way to go. I don't know, maybe it's just a preference for myself. But I think split push is the way they win these games.
Yeah, we are literally just ARMing here. It's not really the macro that I'd like to see, I'll be honest. What you want to be doing in these sort of situations is getting that side lane XP, but they're going to opt in for this fight. Chris Strider isn't here. They're opting into a 4v4 for now, but Kiratine is on the way. It's about to be turned into a 4v5, and they're still going for this. Shroudmaster doesn't pick up any kills. Nubis does, but they're still not going to be what they want. It's a 2-for-1, and I don't know what Job Seekers is doing that. They opted in to that 4v4 at the start, but you had to know that was eventually going to be a 4v5, and it could have been a 4v5 from the start if Kiratine was just waiting on the wings there. They just opted for a fight with no real reason. So they must be feeling the pressure.
They're just going to give up the Baron here too. Looks like they're just going to go for the mid lane tower. Well, they definitely should. Alright, looks like they are going to go threaten the Baron.
Sergeant Crane has almost no way to get into this pit with that ghost or that ultimate avail. Chris Strider's making a huge play. He finds a triple kill though. Kiratine is just tanking the Baron the whole time. They don't make the right decision. You got to peel off that Baron, but Kiratine still is up with Flash and Smite. Is he going to make the play? He has vision on it, and he does. He just walks in, picks up the Smite,
and he lives too.
They're salty. They're chasing this one down, but he has to be careful. He could even turn it onto this Hecarim. Look at the damage. This is exactly what I was worried about for that Hecarim, and now he can turn it onto those two champions.
Yeah, he does have the move speed, but no, he's just going to take his Baron buff and go home. Yeah, very nicely played from Kiratin. Obviously, he should have peeled off the Baron and gone to help his team there. It would have been a free fight. It's more gold. You still get the Baron there for your whole team. But he opted, I think, maybe a bit of miscommunication. He opted to just keep hitting it. He was
Oh,
doing a lot of damage
Shortmaster.
to it.
Shortmaster's absolutely doing.
He's
They're getting
going
caught
to
out by the
have to
Rise
assume
CC.
Nublis is dead here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, and that's just.
The resets are disgusting. Just look at this Viego go, man. He's such a menace in the late game.
Yeah, they nerfed mid lane and top lane Viego a number of times. The champion suffers in those roles now, but they haven't touched jungle Viego, and it's really starting to show that the Job Seekers isn't playing well around this. It's a very dangerous game playing into Viego. You do not want to give him a reset because he just becomes, he turns a 5v5 fight basically into a 5v6 at that point. He just gets a full new set of abilities. He's able to reset through, get so much health back. It's actually such a fight turner, giving Viego even one reset can completely change a fight. They're going to try and find him out here, but do they have the damage? It's just Casuarina and Zonox.
He's just going to blow the ulti and walk out too. Man, the champion's so busted.
Yeah, he takes the wise decision there. Honestly, I think he can pull off that 1v2 if he opts in, but he doesn't know where the other champions are, so he just opts to dip out of that situation. Why not? Has the mobility.
Maybe they should have just gone for the lore battle this game and got us the Gwen Senna, slay the mighty Viego, the level 17 Viego. Man, it's just not enough. This game is just going to get steamrolled from here. Even when the rest of Astra's team just got wiped out, Kiratin was able to still steal Baron, still pick up a kill. I just can't see Job Seekers coming back from this one. He's just way too far ahead.
Yeah, it's just such an important part of the team to take down, but even then, there's Easy Doctor's by no means behind. Ultimate Feeder's supplementing your damage. The Trundle is massive. If he's able to pick up that Cho'Gath on the front line, steal all his stats that he's built up, it's really difficult. Astra have built themselves a really good team composition here, and even though Kiratin's the star carry, the rest of his team isn't starting by any means here. So it's definitely a difficult task for them to come back into this game. And now that we're seeing Kiratin build more defensive, he's just going to be so hard to take down.
It's definitely not over though. The gold's only about 5k, 5.5k at this point of the game. It's 30 minutes. I think death time is really going to decide it. But you just don't kill Kiratin. You need to fight around him, play around him. I think Nublis thinks he's getting the 1v1 here, but Kiratin's here. Nublis isn't going to make it away this time. Actually, Sergeant Crone's here. The fight could turn. They hit the knock up in Forsaken, but
they're looking
just going to take that one and peel off.
The Rise teleports through. Both these teams trying to find some plays to be made, but just no objectives. It's not easy. Right now you should be playing around Vision, but Chan is playing around that Vision, and he gets caught by the Hecarim again. That Hecarim has been a bane in Chan's existence, picking him off so many times, and the Forsaken's getting run down by the support, and the top laner is going to go down eventually. Casuarina trying to find Kiratin, but he has the ult to get over. He ends up flashing over into Easy Doctor and Kiratin, though. That is a beautiful bullet time to help support the mid laner, and they take down Kiratin, giving another big shutdown to the Misfortune. But unfortunately, there's nothing to take as a punishment here.
That's the gold that you don't want to be given to the Misfortune. She's getting closer and closer to full build. She's got a mortal reminder now. I think she's going for Bloodthirster next. She's going to be really disgusting when she starts putting out all this damage. Like you said, maybe it's not over. If they get the drag soul, do you think they win there?
I think it definitely helps them out a lot, but it doesn't immediately solve big pains in their sides like this Viego. Ultimate Feeder is caught out 1v3 under this tower and is going to go down. Beautiful play on that short window because the striker was heading inbound. Maybe he could have even dropped the ult just to buy some more time, but I think she was dead there regardless.
I think Sergeant Crone's going to go for it again. He's looping back around. Chan needs to be careful here. Fool me once. Nah, she's just walking out. They're going to take the tower. Really nicely played by Sergeant Crone, threatening it a second time. And Chan just having to respect it. And she's just walked away there.
Yeah.
Now we do see the drag coming up in just less than a minute. It will be drag assault for Job Seekers if they can get on this. They need the Cho'Gath there ASAP to try and steal this one away. I think it's going to make a big difference to, how fast this Viego is going to be able to kill Job Seekers Alliance. So if it's gonna go to anyone, this Mountain Soul, it should go to Job Seekers. They really need this one here.
Yeah, but unfortunately Siva is respawning just in time for that objective. They don't really have too much priority right now. Job Seekers have a little window to get some priority, but they don't have any vision. They're still scared to face check into this. Why wouldn't they be with Kiratine being that strong there? He might look for a play here in front of his team. This is actually a pretty bad spot for the side of AD Astra. They're split off and Kiratine is able to pick up Chris
just getting
but
blown up.
yeah, they're going to try to turn it around. Kiratine caught in the big bullet time, but he's going onto Nubis and healing out so much. He's got a triple kill here. He's looking for the chase down. Look how small Kiratine is when he possesses Cho'Gath. That's not fair.
Yeah, so that's what we were talking about earlier on. I did notice that, yeah, he didn't get the feast stacks. I guess that counts as like a part of the ultimate, so Viego does not get to steal those ones.
Oh, he's looking. Sergeant Crane finds Ultimate Feeder there. Ultimate Feeder doesn't block anything with his spell shield, but the Easy Doctor's here to find the pickup. And yeah, it's just a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, but I'm not sure if that is worth it.
Yeah, they're gonna lose 3 towers here, I think. Trundle's waiting for the minions in bot lane too. He's just gonna start whacking on them there. Dropping the first domain. He's not doing too much damage without the minions around. But yeah, that's gonna be an inhib. They might even get bot tower. They're gonna go for top inhib too, of course. The top tower's down as well.
Yeah, they might have to be careful with the respawns being so soon, but yeah, Forsaken has some alone time. Maybe he's able to pick this one up, but still, that mid lane inhibitor with the Baron up is going to buy them a lot of time for that objective, and I can only see them playing around that as their next goal to win the game here. But
they're just starving them out too. You can just see Ad Astra in all of the camps, still in the red buff. They've just cleared out the top camps too. I think Easy Doctor got the blue buff, and Kiratine's just gone for the Baron. They can definitely two-man this. Chen has enough HP to keep Kiratine alive, but he might even just have enough lifesteal himself for this.
Hopefully his team does rotate in time though, because Job Seekers is converging. They decide to get off of that Baron. And yeah, they're going to reset for the time being. Rise probably wants to pick up that blue buff, and most importantly, Kiratine wants to spend his 3.5k he's sitting on right now. And
yeah, you don't want to be waiting on that in this next fight. It could be the difference maker. I think maybe the next fight or two is probably going to decide the game. If Ad Astra get the next fight, which I have to imagine is the case, I think they can just walk mid and end, but, you know, and here it is, it's going down.
Caught out. He gets caught out by the bullet time, absolutely taken down there. Kiratine's playing really far back. It looks like they're just opting to give up this fight. The ultimate feeder, I mean the Forsaken rather, is trying to do as much as he can, and yeah, Chen flashing away, doesn't want to get caught on the end of that fight there, and this is the problem with AD Astra. They're often so split up, but having that Hecarim allows them to make plays like that. You got to respect the engage this champion does have, but it's not the end of the game. It gives them a little bit of window, but I think the most important thing that AD Astra has to worry about is Kiratine is not getting any stronger after this point. So if you continue to make plays like that, the rest of Job Seekers get stronger and Kiratine gets nothing. Doesn't matter how many kills he picks up now, doesn't matter at all. It's just...
Yeah, absolutely. This is real dangerous territory for Ad Astra here. Obviously the Rise is in bot, just pushing as well. I think that's why Kiratine opted to not take the fight, but you know, he has the teleport. I think even then, they probably win the 5v4 at this point in the game. Kiratine's out putting so much damage. Maybe with Ultimate Feeder gone, he just didn't feel like he had it. So, just taking that one, walking home. That's going to be the crucial fight for Job Seekers Alliance here. If they can keep getting those ones, where, you know, Kiratine just feels like he can't do anything, they're going to win this game. And it's getting closer and closer.
Yeah, Easy Doctor hasn't had a bad performance so far, but he is now hit full build as well. I want to start to see this Rise pump out some massive damage in this fight to help supplement, give the Kiratine a little bit of an easier time, help get him those resets so that he's able to take this victory here before it's too late, because it's creeping up on them. The Job Seekers is creeping up. That Misfortune is really strong at the moment, but she just doesn't have an Infinity Edge for that real big burst of damage, but still by no means slouching. That we saw what that bullet time can do if she finds it onto squishy targets like Ultimate Feeder. Have to be playing so careful. But yeah, here comes Easy Doctor. This is the Rise damage we're talking about. Just nukes down.
Damn, such a crone, nearly dying there too. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Easy Doctor's doing so much damage. Cannot cop any of those flux bindings. It's going to be very dangerous territory.
Yeah, Rise
Just when you think Casuarina is like kind of starting to fall behind, you know, Izzy Doctor is going to pick up the slack there. It won't be long till we see Ultimate Feeder hard carrying this. I think he needs one more item, and his ricochets are going to be demolishing in these fights too.
Yeah, this Rise is sitting at over 1000 AP right now, and he's also sitting on 230 armor to boot. So it's targets like Chris Strider and MF can't just immediately nuke him out. He's definitely got the carry potential. He just needs to put himself in that position where he's able to put that damage out. And this is the AD Astra's problem. They've been caught with this game. They're currently split off again. The Rise can't really assist. They have to be careful, but they're actually trying to find that.
Nooble's getting chunks.
Yeah, but Cho'Gath is sitting pretty. He doesn't have the Warmorgs for once. Actually, Nooble's usually loves that item, but he actually won't be regenning this health instantly like he usually does. And this dragon has spawned, but AD Astra's in a pretty bad position. They're corralled into a tiny choke point, which is, they're actually just going for this fight, and that's what I was worried about. The bullet time in this tiny choke point is going to absolutely demolish them, but Sergeant Crone makes a crucial mistake. He gives the reset over to Curitin, and Curitin's going to look for more. He ends up getting rooted, so there's nothing to be found. They're looking for the fight, the big knock up there. He's going to go for the play, trying to get the reset onto Zonox here. He gets it here, but the rest of his team is dead. He's just going to try to kite it out. Nooblis, Chris Strider, and Shotmaster standing at the end of it all. But yeah, we're seeing
this is crazy. This is one of our closest games yet by far.
We're seeing these two teams not. This Rise isn't able to put out any damage in the team fight at all. Shortmaster's surely going to finish that off before Q-Team gets anywhere near, and they're going to pick up the Mountain Soul, and this game becomes a lot harder now for the side of AD Astra, and Dragobseekers is creeping up on them here.
Yeah, that's huge. Getting the Mountain Soul here, you know, Kiratin's damage is already falling off. They just, I don't think they, you know, are going to have the sustainability to actually get in these fights. I think Kiratin either just needs to, like, man up and just go for it. Yeah, look, he's found Nooblis here. He's getting the knock up, but the stun will be up again shortly.
Yeah, he's got ult. He has W up. He's going to land the stun. Does he have the damage to take down this Cho'Gath? I don't think he does. Cho'Gath is a little bit too tanky, and here comes Chris Strider, but Chan Chan's helping his jungle get out to safety there.
And that's what we were worried about this game. It's what I was talking about in the Champ Select. Like, when Cho'Gath gets to this point where he has just about 6k HP, he's just like, what do you do, man? You blow everything. You blow your ulti, hitting every CC on that huge target, and he just won't die.
Yeah, honestly, if it was me, I'd be itemizing that Kraken Slayer if I was Kiratin. The tankiness has helped him out a lot, but it's time to hyper carry your team.
He definitely has the gold now too, you know, he's full build, yeah, he needs to get the damage pumping. I think this, I said it earlier, but I think the next fight is going to be the one to decide it. The death times are huge, the game is getting really late, you know, there's only a 2k gold difference. If Jobseeker is going to make it work, this is the time. They're just staying grouped, so you know, there's no chance for Kiratin to pick any of these guys out.
And they're actually
I think Trundle might get called out, yeah.
Yeah, Trundle's in a very bad position. They're trying to try the split push approach, but Trundle is just not good at wave clearing. He's not going to clear this out. Can he run to safety at the very least? It doesn't look like it with that Hecarim being so quick.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just going to get chunked down there. And the bullet time actually going to come out to finish him off. That could be crucial. I'm sure it's got a pretty short cooldown in these next few fights. And Kiratin is pushing in the bot lane. Morgana's the only one backing at this stage, and I don't think she should be the one to stop him.
Yeah, Kiratin's quite afraid though. We don't see, he can't see when they're recalling, but Jobseekers don't even opt to punish at all. This pick doesn't really get them much. He's going to probably respawn in time for that Baron as well as the teleport. So I don't really like this play at all. You got to try create your advantages while you have them, at least convert that into a tower. But yeah,
I suppose they were just scared of the Kiratin threat in the bottom side. Like, if they keep pushing there, they're probably just going to lose an inhib, and obviously the other towers are down, so we could just get more. If they kept pushing, it would make it a pretty tough base race for them, when I think, you know, Kiratin can probably out base race them with all this attack speed.
Oh, Shen, you gotta be careful of that Cho'Gath barreling towards you there, but he's found his team. He is safe, but AD Astra has to play around this bullet time. They've been caught out time and time again. Kiratin's been trying to carry these team fights, but if the entire team gets nuked out by that ultimate, there's no chance of them winning, and they're just going to be too slow to this Baron. They know it's happening. He might go in for the steal, but I don't know if he's going to be there in time. No, he's not. Shortmaster, he has no flash to get out, and Kiratin is surely going to go down. His Soraka is trying to keep him alive over the wall. Forsaken's in the pit. Here they go. They're going to try and turn this one around. Sergeant Crone trying to go on the backline, but Kiratin is still alive after all this. But he's trying to find the reset. If he finds it on Chris Strider, it's huge. He finds the reset. Kiratin going to keep going. He's just ignoring this Cho'Gath, trying to go for that support, and the Forsaken can't quite get Shortmaster. Shortmaster living. Easy Doctor kiting out this Hecarim. After all this fight, oh, he finds the proc. I want to see the other fight. Show me the other fight. The Rise is surviving on 1 HP.
Oh, the bullet time! He held the bullet time the whole fight, and it's still not gonna kill Easy Doctor. He's gonna get away and dodge the big roar. Man.
Oh, he can't go back to his ultimate. The rupture was there. He has.
He wants to fight. He's gonna abuse the phase rush. Oh, that's gonna be it.
And there's a fight in the mid lane now. Sergeant Crone is trying to 1v1 Kiritine. The Sundra procs is doing so much, but it's not enough then. Kiritine, you have to be careful, Shortmaster. The teleport comes through, so that guarantees his safety. But
I think Kiritine wins that fight, though.
Yeah,
right? I guess
pretty sure
he was on his way, but.
Pretty sure he could have turned it with how Shortmaster played that. He had the reset on the ultimate and he can blow up this Misfortune. The most important part though is that Misfortune has GA, so it would have bought some time for that Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and Cho'Gath was TPing in, so that one's down now as well. They've actually gotten an objective for it, which is huge. They've got that mid tower down, and open in him is, it's one step closer to ending the game. The goal, for the first time in probably 30 minutes, the gold is in Job Seekers Alliance favor. This is huge for them. They've got a crazy comeback here. We see so many of Job Seekers Alliance games really go the distance where their scaling picks start to pay off, and this is another classic example of one of those games.
Yeah, even this Hecarim that hasn't been doing much all game, we're starting to see him really pump out some damage there. Just able to stand toe-to-toe with that Rise there in that fight. That should never happen, honestly, but the Hecarim has built enough magic to just do that at this point. And we see immediately Rise backs and he sells that Frozen Heart for a Void Staff, so he really wants to be putting out as much damage as he can. But yeah, that was looking so scary for Kiritine when he was in that pit. I just didn't see a way for them to bring that back, but yeah, AD Astra managed to find the way back in there.
I believe it was Forsaken. I think he flashed the wall to get over and help Kiritine, and Nublis ended up being the only one that was just hitting him. And Nublis and Kiritine, neither of them were dying. Both of them were just healing as they were hitting each other while everything was happening on the back line. We're gonna see this fight for Elder happen now.
Job Seeker's a bit split at the moment. They have to be careful. Look at the positioning of the MF and the Hecarim. They're going for the wombo combo, and they find that Kiritine is trying to chase down Shortmaster. They're gonna find Shortmaster, but he ends up picking up the Rise. That is so crucial before he goes down. We'll see if he can pick off Shortmaster. They're trying to save their AD carry, but they aren't quite able to. Kiritine finds the shutdown, but now he's in the middle of that Cho'Gath and that Hecarim there. He's going to try to find his way out, but there's no way out. Cho'Gath just nukes half his health bar. And that is the game there for Job Seekers. They take it. They clutch this game out after 47 minutes of just straight up team fights, non-stop. These guys were swinging both blows, looking so bad for them, but eventually they find the answer for this Viego, and they clutch it out for the win.
That's so tough for Ad Astra. We've seen them have this game. I actually think my favorite game of the year was the last game these guys placed, but this is just like tops it again. They always have such close matches, and unfortunately, once again, Kiritine putting on an absolutely dominating performance, but the prestige of Job Seekers Alliance just clutching it in the end game. Chris Strider absolutely commanding his team to victory for this one.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect anything else in this damage graph. There was two pretty key players on both sides keeping their teams in the game. Just insane bullet times, insane Viego play. I think we don't even need to discuss the MVPs for this game here.
Yeah, it's controversial. I think that even though Kiritine lost, he should be the MVP of this game. He did everything he could for so long until he just couldn't anymore, until the enemy team just scaled and there was nothing left that he could do. He played so well, and we've seen him put out 55k damage. So big in those fights, it just wasn't enough to clutch this game out.
Yeah, and I think even with just a small build adjustment with that Kraken side, he might be able to take targets like Sergeant Crane and Nublis down much quicker and allow him to get those resets off in those fights. But unfortunately, didn't have that, had the Sundra, and yeah, we saw it bite him in those late game team fights. The Sundra just isn't up enough but he's got 31 out of 36 KP. That's just a disgusting performance from Kiratine. And on the other side there, Shortmaster has a pretty good KP himself, but just most importantly, those bullet times landing across the Ultimate Team. They had that disgusting flank and they wombo combo that last team fight to bring themselves to victory. I think it's pretty good, pretty easy MVPs to give over.
I think so too. It's these misfortune picks are setting a very dangerous precedent in NT esports because I don't like to play against it. I just like to get into a fight and I just like to smash people's skulls together. But when I just get bullet timed on and get like one shot every time, like what am I gonna do? I hope to not see more misfortunes in my games, but they have been very entertaining. And you know the bullet times absolutely carried some of these huge fights. A big shout out has to go to Sergeant Crone. That last fight was huge. He did it a few more times where he's just hitting huge ultis and fearing 3 or 4 people just to get dunked on with the bullet time. Like, it's such a good combo. They played really well and I think deserved this win just as much as that Astra did this game.
Yeah, well, we have to hurry into our next match here because we are a little bit behind the schedule. But yeah, what a match that was, guys. Hopefully this next one can live up to the hype. Because, yeah, that was an insane one. But you probably got to go prepare for your own match now, Bill. So we'll be having a little bit of a caster switch up. So
that's it. I think you might be having Chris Strider join him in this one. Get a little post-win interview. Wish us luck. We're going to be playing the 8 o'clock game tonight. Come tune in. We got to get some dubs on the board. See you then.
Right. Well, we will see Django later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, I want to bring Chris Strider into the call here and see what he has to think about that match that was just played. But yeah, guys, we're just setting up the next match right now. This next match is Casuarina, gentlemen, versus Corona Spaceship. I will just find out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was quite the game. We're just getting hurried along into the next one, trying to set it up in reasonable, swift fashion. But yeah, Chris Strider's probably stepped out for a little bit of a breather after that match. Understandable. That one was definitely a crazy match. But yeah, Job Seekers showing their grit and clutching it out after all of that. And yeah, you guys can look at the standings right now. That was a pretty important game for AD Astra if they're going to try and make their comeback into the season. But Job Seekers just hangs on and they're really fighting for this top 4 position here. And who knows, but if they keep up performances like that, I think they're going to be able to clutch it out. But we'll see if the rest of the competition can keep up the game. Bit of banter going on in this chat. But yeah, guys, take this moment to go, grab a drink yourselves, refresh yourselves for this next match. I'm hoping it's going to be as exciting. Casuarina, gentlemen, have been coming back so strong lately, and Corona Spaceship have been being pretty consistent over this competition, so I'm excited to see how this matchup is going to play out and see if Corona Spaceship can find just the winning recipe in the second half to secure that top 4 position, or can Casuarina make the comeback story of a lifetime here and yeah, just find their ways into the top 4 spot. Looks like we are basically ready here. And yeah, I believe I'm joined here now by Chris Strider, guys, so go ahead.
Heyo.
Yeah, while we have a little bit of time, again, I'm always giving you these interviews after these really difficult games, Chris. Have you guys gotten used to it at this point, or?
I think my team, since we've been together long enough, I feel like we've gotten used to it, but it still takes the wind out of our sails, so to speak. 47-minute game. It's fun until 30, and then it gets pretty tiring after that. So yeah, I'm a bit tired, to be honest.
Yeah, it becomes very stressful. Hopefully, don't have to work too hard anymore in these games, but who knows, we might have a banger coming up. But yeah, that game was just tossing and turning at so many points. There's so many crucial moments. Like, that's just a nightmare to VOD review a team, because like, oh, we could have done something here, we could have done something here, could have done something here, and so many points that were really important in that game. But yeah, the
Yeah,
teamwork of Job Seekers ends up coming through in the end. We see AD Astra wasn't as cohesive. Kiratine put in his darndest performance, but yeah, he needed his team to pick up the slack in that late game. He hit full build, wasn't able to continue to carry that game here, and yeah, Job Seekers just played so well. Shotmaster with that misfortune again, just given that monster pick.
Yep,
And
100%.
and that top lane Cho'Gath being such a force to be reckoned with. People have to wake up to this Job Seekers strategy, because I think you guys are just like, what is it, like 3 wins in a row now? It's pretty successful. But
It's how do I explain it? We feel very comfortable on those picks, but we'll just have to see how it plays out for the rest of the season. I'm sure teams will actually start looking at possibly MF show bans, but if they continue to ban me out, then so be it. We're able to have a bit more free reign with my team, which is the goal for the team fight, of course.
yeah, but now we are getting into the next champion select. That game was so quick that I didn't even have time to set up these logos, so I'm just going to do that quickly, guys. Do not mind me, but normally I don't have a chance, but this time we were just straight into it, so I'm just a bit all over the place, guys. But I'm sorting
That's
that
all right.
out. You guys know the teams. It's CS on the left and Casuarina Gentleman on the right. Straight into this next one. And are the bans what you expected so far for these two teams?
In terms of Corona Spaceship, not really. In terms of CG, yeah, I expected these kind of bans coming out. They don't like versing Cho for some reason. They don't like versing Set, so they take them away. But I understand the Irelia ban. It's just a strong champion in general, even though I had a pretty mediocre game last game with Irelia, but I guess I did get focused down in nearly all the fights.
Yeah,
but the Xin Zhao ban.
Really good moments there. I remember that triple kill at the Baron pit, turning it around. That was insane what you were able to do on that pick. But yeah, there was a lot of skirmishes where it was a bit awkward for that Irelia pick. So
yeah, the what was it? The Soraka silence caught me off guard in a few moments in that game where the AoE just kind of, I'm going to say, slow me down to the point where I would probably die 100-0 just standing in that silence, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
There's a lot of champions like the Trundle Pillar, the Soraka Eater just denies space there that made it so hard to position yourself as a melee. But
yeah,
now we're seeing some interesting support picks. There was the support priority last game. We saw Morgana first picked by your team, and now we're seeing Karma and Rakan being locked away straight away in the draft. Why do you think teams are starting to draft supports really early on?
I think it's more about, well, I understand the Karma, that's more of a flex pick, but Rakan 100% going to the support role. It could just be either comfort picks or they just really believe in their ability to make plays, but it also helps other laners to counter pick, so to speak. So it really depends on the team. Specifically for CG, it's more of a comfort pick. In terms of Corona Spaceship, they're able to flex Karma quite well into 3 lanes, so to speak. But in general, I guess support, it kind of allows you to mask the AD carry role a little bit, especially if you pick something like Rakan. You can pick, besides the obvious Xayah, you can pick a lot of champions that kind of gel with it, but that's just my thoughts on support in next tier esports league.
Yeah, I think a lot of these teams have prioritized that counter pick, and we're seeing it quite easily now. And bot lane's probably the least counter pickable role in the game, and we're seeing that locked away from the side of Corona Spaceship, and jungle being the second least counter pickable role.
Yep.
So we're seeing Corona Spaceship just saving their solo lanes here, and that we see a Trundle locked away on the side of Casuarina Gentleman there. So Bin Laden, excuse me, might have been watching the first second that game, and liked what he saw, because he sees the Sejuani lock in here, and yeah, that's going to be crucial into that pick. If he's able to find the ultimate onto that Sejuani passive and pick up all these free resistances, he's going to be a very tanky troll.
Yeah, he was sort of tanky in our game, but besides taking the Cho'Gath base stats and whatnot, he probably could have optimized his build a little bit better, but he was not as tanky as I thought he would be later in the later stage of the game. Maybe just fell off, but yeah, Trundle definitely a good meta pick at the moment, able to flex in jungle and top, and just overall a good tank counter, so to speak.
Yeah, even if Rakan wasn't locked in, we've seen Trundle's support being played in pro before, and
Yeah, I've
recently
seen
at
it.
that. So it's definitely a champion to be on the lookout for when we have all these counter picks. We're thinking about a lot of AD carries being taken off the board now. Lucian taken away, possibly even looking at Lucian into that mid lane there. It's probably his most preferred role at the moment. Definitely a strong pick here, but yeah, I imagine Malix is probably not liking that into a lot of his champions. I know Malix likes to play a lot of melee mid laners, so having something like the Lucian pull you out is just an absolute nightmare, so I can see why he's taking that away.
Yeah, and I was thinking about looking at too. Last game, it was either a toss up between Lucian, Lee, or Irelia, but opted to go for the Irelia. And yeah, it definitely slowed me down last game. But Lucian definitely probably one of the more uh, harder laners to deal with. Just his poke is so easily to land with just PTA in general. And I would say Graves is arguably a better version of Lucian, just doesn't quite have that ult range, but casts it straight away, so to speak. But I've been practicing it too, so it's good fun. But nevertheless, they lock in Tristana, pretty staple pick for their AD carry, Blade Exer.
Yeah, Conditioners, Tristana, we've seen again, does really well with the Rakan, able to dive in and follow up that Rakan. And another Yorick for the side of NT Sports. We love our Yorick players here, and Pandemonium is going to be picking up that Yorick into the top side, into that Trundle. Not sure who wins that 1v1 when all is said and done. If normally you give
Trundles loses it out over a longer fight, but yeah, Yorick's just too oppressive later in the later stage of the game.
especially in the early game, I think Trundle really brings the damage there, so I'm expecting to see him play aggressive early, but as soon as you unlock that Maiden, it's just so hard to deal with Yorick, so definitely still some volatility there in the top lane, and Hunt's just going to go on a staple Victor pick, just a steady scaling pick for his team, and I don't think there's ever really a bad position to pick Victor, and we'll see what the counter pick is. Are we going to see Casuarina? I don't think we've seen it yet in NT Sports, so I'd definitely be keen to see what Malix is able to do.
Yeah, there we go.
I was looking forward to it. Excuse me again, I need some water. But yeah, Malix ends up locking away that Ziggs. Yeah, I don't think we've seen Malix's Ziggs. I think he has played a lot of those melees, like I said, so I'm curious to see how he performs on these mages here. But
yeah,
pretty interesting team compositions. That Trundle does look like he's going into the jungle. I should have probably considered that. But Volibear into the Yorick is probably nowhere near as good as the Trundle into Yorick, but I still haven't played that matchup up. It's not really too common. You see those two champions against each other. So I'm ready to be corrected here. Bin Laden, of course, being one of the better top laners in the league, is going to be bringing the pain to Pandemonium.
Yep, and he's probably going to rock out PTA Volibear early on just to try to put Yorick behind as much as possible. But if he behaves himself, then he might go grass, but we'll just see how it plays out. But yeah, Yorick definitely going to be looked to be tower doped by this Trundle and Volibears, so we'll see if they'll be able to set that up with the Ziggs follow-up as well. What are your thoughts on both of these drafts, Blade Exer?
I'm really liking the playmaking side that Casuarina Gentlemen. I think that team is just playmaking, and they love to make these fights on their own terms, so they have the tools. Rakan engage, Trundle Pillar assists them a lot. They've got really good follow-up. Volibear can ult in afterwards. Tristana can jump in. Ziggs can throw in all his bombs. It really all hinges on that Rakan though, or a really beautiful pillar from Trundle. But yeah, they've definitely got a pretty good composition to start off fights here, and we're just seeing a very all-rounder comp, I'd say, on the side of Corona Spaceship there. I think Corona Spaceship is not a flashy team by any means, but yeah, they're still very powerful in their own right. And a team composition like this, I think, fits them perfectly. It's reactive. They don't usually look for super crazy plays. They're just playing good macro, good mechanics, and they have tools for every situation with this sort of composition. And I'm expecting to see, just not too much action going on into the mid lane, but normally this team's focused around their AD carry. So we'll see if Pro is able to find any ganks onto that extremely mobile bot lane here, or if Frogswatter can punish him with this counterpick Trundle into that Casuarina. But that's my thoughts on the draft. I think if I had to give it to someone, just I personally favour the all-rounder comps. Just maybe I'm biased towards champions like Victor, but yeah, that Vayne is going to be a nightmare for champions like Trundle and Volibear to get onto. Really have to find a good Ricard and engage onto that champion, otherwise it's really hard for her to lock down. Maybe Ziggs can find the bombs to nuke her down. But yeah, I'm worried about that on Fleek and what he can do with the Vayne in his hands here. But we're going to go over to our sponsors right now, talk about them for a little bit. Paul's Iced Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin. Paul's Iced Coffee celebrating their 60th anniversary. Northern Territory Government doing some good things for us. I believe there's some, I'm not sure if they're sponsored by the government, but yeah, they're helping you set up festivals around. Darwin's a good place to be at the moment. Lots of people coming up, as I'm sure most of us know. McDonald's Darwin, of course, staple, saving us, and yeah, some of us probably going to be needing it after the event this Saturday night. So,
I need it right now, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you must be hungry after that long game, but we're going to go over to our minor sponsors. Hopefully they make you hungrier with, with joints like Fresh Point Cafe, John John's, District North Kitchen, some good food caterers here. But don't forget about Next Year Entertainment, Serotonin Beauty, VR Gamers, Gammon Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Howard Swing Taverns, The Rabbit Hole, Pallets of India, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, Bell Accounting, Wicked Energy, and Diamond Barbers. That is all the minor sponsors. Thank you guys. I'm going to go over quickly to the event. Make sure you guys are paying attention to this event. The Press Start Social. Next year, Northern Territory Esports League. I'm always getting next year and Northern Territory mixed up in their respective order. But it's the mid-season party, guys. Make sure you show up. There's going to be karaoke, video games, esports tournaments, board games, photo booth, costume competitions, discount vouchers, lots of stuff. Big name's going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to consider myself a big name, but more people like David Moore for the organization. But yeah, like, familiar face, we'll say that. If you guys are watching the stream, you'll at least see some familiar faces there at the very least. So, implore you guys to come. It would be a good night. But we are in game now, sort of. We're on 0. But I'll transition us over to the game. And we can get started whenever this timer decides to kick off. But
yeah. I'm really looking forward to this game. I feel like this is going to come down to how the junglers can utilize or get their leads for their respective laners, as I feel this might be very passive early on. But I could be wrong, like Bin Laden can just go straight onto Pandemonium level 2, who knows. But CG looking for a bit of a feisty start, and same with Corona Spaceship. We might see something here, Blade Exer.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now, but looks like they are fanning out. So if CG catches out this poor Victor, he might be doomed here. Look at him. They're going to find him. He's going to burn the flash straight away and gets out. But that is still a net game for Casuarina, gentlemen. And being down a flash versus a champion like Trundle is going to be very scary. So we'll see if they end up finding a punish onto that Victor. But
I'm sure you would know all about being flashless on Victor, even though Phase Rush is still pretty good on him, as you just feel a little uneasy when you don't have that flash ready to go. But
yeah,
we'll just see if Trundle can make it work.
Yeah, Trundle can definitely lay the beat down on you if he pillars you from behind or something like that. I usually just think where it all went wrong. Not much to do. You can't really outplay the pillar slow at that point, so he's definitely got to be looking to track this Trundle appropriately so he doesn't find himself on the receiving end of that gank. Trundle looks like he's starting topside here, so we'll see if they're able to get any pressure onto this bot side. I said Quopro should probably look around this bot lane, but they're still good in their own right. Karma, Vayne, pretty strong lane. Can definitely outplay the likes of Tristana and Rakan. But yeah, in the 1v1, this Trundle, as soon as he hits level 6 into an afterstruck Sejuani, as well as that passive, he's going to be stealing so many resistances, so he has to be careful that Sejuani playing around this Trundle.
Yeah, 100%, and the mid lane is unorthodoxly really trading aggressive early, so that doesn't favor Hunt, unfortunately. He'd make himself a little more vulnerable to ganks, but early invade coming out of Quopro here.
Yeah,
Ops back up.
I thought he wasn't going to play bot side, but yeah, he was, but he gets found out very quickly by that ward. His whole, look at this entire team, just Frog Spotter wants that blue. He's telling his entire team to get the Sejuani out of here. And out that Sejuani goes. Not a super efficient path for both junglers, but at least they are going to get the camps that they want.
Yeah, and Hunt losing these trades very slowly to Ziggs. Pretty sure the mana cost is even since Ziggs got nerfed to 420 mana, I believe. So hopefully they'll be able to keep poking each other so we can actually see some action. But very early control coming out of Corona Spaceship in the bot lane.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Malik's took, but with Hunt taking biscuits, I think as they trade on, eventually he's going to run out of gas, while Hunt should still have a little bit left with those biscuits. But we will see as he's slowly winning out with that corrupting pot assisting too. But I'm not seeing any crazy advantages being built because teleport is always there at the end of the day. It's very hard to find solo kills on Victor. He has not got many flashy mechanics or anything like that. So
Oh no.
we're seeing a play on the top side though. Pandemonium has Bin Laden caged. Kopro is here to follow up, but he's not going to find the knock-up. He does find the stun, but Pandemonium is not going to burn the flash here to try to pick up that kill. I think he had an opportunity. If he flash autoed and then he cancelled his auto with a Q, I'm pretty sure that's enough damage for the Yorick to secure that kill. But I think he had already activated the Q in prior, so no chance for him to auto reset there and pick up the kill. Unfortunately, but still, good gank from Kopro.
Yeah, no, that just speaks volumes to Corona Spaceship's play style. They don't want to expend summoners unless they're pretty sure they're going to get a good trade coming out of it. So it's good to see them exercise their patience, but first blood is worth a lot of gold. So
Speaking of patience, the Trundle in the bot lane. Trundle in the bot lane is waited around so long, but Superman ends up getting caught out by the Condemn on the wall. But here comes the Trundle on fleek. Has no flash here. He's in a very dangerous position. Condition is ordering the minions. Oh, he just dodges out onto the Karma just in time there to get out to safety. Otherwise, that could have been a disastrous play for the side of CG. And I'm still worried for him. The stray Karma you could deal some serious damage here, especially with the Comet. So I'm hoping he doesn't overcommit too hard. But yeah, it's not an ideal lane state for Tristana. So I think Corona Spaceship are pretty happy with how that played out. But I don't think Pandemonium is very happy at all here. He saved that flash, so there you go. Ends up paying it off here, and he's got teleport, so he shouldn't lose too much in this top lane. But yeah,
but he's going to stick around.
Some early action between the two teams. So annoying, Ziggs. Just he's able to stop recalls so safely from a mile away. You got to be careful where you recall versus champion, otherwise he can just annoy you.
I think we find it annoying the most. The last 4 out of 5 games we've had Ziggs on the enemy team. So we were thinking about banning it actually in ban phase, but we opted not to. But he is quite the annoying champion, but can be dealt with quite well.
He has
and flashless. Oh, he does have flash now.
Yeah, it's just been early enough. It creeps up on you when you flash early game like that. It seems like there's a little bit of a window, but I don't know why when you flash early game and it invades like that, it seems to come up pretty quickly. Unless you're getting like level 3 gank, like something like that. Normally it's pretty easy to get by without getting punished. But Malix,
you can kill him!
Yeah, Malix has to be wary of that level 6 there. And yeah, immediately just falls victim, but Malix is not burning the flash. He's done that a few times in this competition. I think being strict with your summoners is good. Not wasting it and trying to optimize your plays, but not dropping the summoners when you need to. Yeah, we see what happens to Double Lift when he does that.
Yeah, he's definitely practicing his Double Lift mechanics there, I'm sure.
But the level 6 all in here. He's got no flash onto this Yorick but playing around the wall here so well. Here comes Frog Spotter. He has flash. He might be able to flash pillar this, but no, it doesn't. People are holding onto their summoners this game. They don't want to burn it. Don't want to waste it. But I think Bin Laden was a bit too trigger happy on the ultimate there. He can just wait out the wall, and then he has the ultimate to chase down wherever that Yorick goes. But the Yorick continues to play ring around a Rosie like he did there.
Oh no!
But what is going on? Bin Laden's trapped here. Then there's a play being made onto the Ziggs in the mid lane.
That's a kill.
Oh yeah, Malix is caught out completely here. Quopro cutting off, but he ends up getting the flash over the wall. Hunt having no flash, and Quopro too far away. He ends up just walking out of that play there.
That's a bit weird to see. He actually survived from one side of the river to get to the other. So Yeah, pretty good play coming out of Malix. Hopefully he'll be able to stop the bleeding in the mid lane, but as soon as Quopro hits level 6, I'm sure we'll see him in the mid lane soon.
Yeah, if I was Malix right here, I'd just probably try and drop my ultimate onto the wave and just try to clear it out, pick up some minions before you go for this recall, because he's about to crash the entire wave into the tower, and Hunt's going to have a tremendous lead in this mid lane. We already see 2 levels up Hunt has over the Ziggs here, but yeah, we saw Pandemonium swinging back onto Bin Laden there in the top lane and wasn't able to find anything, but yeah, driving them off 1v2, definitely doing well for his team here, and Quopro almost found something on the other side, but Malix with the cheeky little play, saving that flash, ends up paying off again.
And yeah, on Fleek practicing his double lift build as well. Very famous for getting 3 long swords back in season 4 and 5, playing for CLG. But yeah, bit of a deficit coming out of CG's bot lane. Maybe it just comes down to experience. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate condition I can't farm under turret. Ooh.
There's only one mythic that goes into too, which is the shield bow, because of that life scepter. So I'm not sure if that's selling his mythic straight away there, but normally we don't see the shield bow onto the veins. A lot of them just opt for that crack and say all or nothing. But poor Malix. Poor Malix doesn't have his flash now. Like,
as soon as he hit level 6.
So yeah, not too much to do. You really got to be on the ball with that Ziggs W to dodge out ganks like that, and even sometimes you might W in time, it'll hit you mid-air. So yeah, it's really tough, and yeah, Hunt's just accelerated his lead so much in this mid lane here. They're really attacking Malix in the mid lane, trying to get Hunt big, and On Fleek has already built himself up a huge lead in his own right, so they're doing pretty well. Say the only winning lane right now is that top lane for that Volibear, but he hasn't got a tremendous lead at all.
Yeah, and hopefully Malix exercises a bit of patience here, not always go for a heavy trade versus Hunt, while if there's junglers not nearby and he's flashless, it's going to be very tough for Malix to stop the bleeding here. You can get trigger happy on Ziggs at time. You think you have infinite mana, but he gets punished there accordingly.
Yep.
And he's going to get punished even more.
This is usually what G2 did for Caps back in the day when Caps was their main carry. They would just be sending Yankos mid, they'd be dropping Heralds, they're just absolutely feeding the crap out of Caps here. And it seems to be the strategy for Hunt this game, as with his massive lead, this Victor's going to be huge.
Oh, okay. A bit of an early flash coming out of Quopro.
But yeah, Hunt is so massive into this game. Quopro's helped him out so much in order to build this lead that he already had himself, but now it's just getting ridiculous. And Bin Laden's going for that all in. The Maiden is trying to do her best to try and stop this Volibear, but gonna go down. But yeah, Pandemonium has a little bit of a life advantage, but Volibear still probably wins out that trade in the end. But yeah, Victor feels so good in positions like this. If you're sitting on 0 kills and 0 assists, it takes so long for you to build those augments onto your abilities, but he's gotten 2, so he's gotten a very early upgrade onto his E, and he's just wave clearing so well. We see how well he's CSing here, 100, almost 10 CS per minute, probably sitting around 9.5, something like that. Good mechanics coming out of Hunt here, and he's looking to absolutely just smash this game with some ridiculously early mythic items like Luden's coming out. He was probably going to start nuking out champions like the Tristana.
Yeah, he's going to be a very strong Victor in the next 5 or 6 minutes once he completes his mythic and able to stack his tier. He's going to be very hard to actually kill if he's able to get to that mid-game power spike. But this could be a catch-out, but unfortunately Rakan misses the combo onto Vayne.
Yeah, Vayne's quite slippery too with that tumble, especially for champions like Rakan to try and lock down here. But he has access to that ultimate now, which makes it a lot simpler. But we'll see if he's able to find any crucial picks. Trundle's still sticking around the bot side, but I don't think they see an angle. This bot side of Corona is just playing too patient, too intelligent.
Yep, they're playing the waiting game like you mentioned in draft. They just want to scale, get to their mythic items, and they believe that their macro play will outshine CG, but hopefully we'll be able to see CG come back. But right now, Ziggs and Tristana are definitely gold starved at the moment with their CS numbers, but they've engaged coming out to York.
Yeah, they're trying to catch up Pandemonium here. I think they have it. Quopro leaves him for dead. Sorry, brother. Sacrifices must be made, and they leave him for dead there, and Hunt has TP, but looks like they have a bit of priority onto this dragon. They might even opt to give it over here. But with
They're in that position.
how strong Victor is, I still think they have an opportunity to fight, even without their top laner.
Looks like all 5 are coming down for Infernals, so they might actually have to give it while free reign onto Victor in the top lane, able to get more plates and accelerate himself even further. So Corona Spaceship definitely looking for that good macro play for getting gold over all around the map.
Yeah, it's paid off. Bin Laden's getting some gold here, but I think the gold onto that scaling champion like Victor is so much more valuable, and most importantly, just solo XP this entire time. This Victor's almost going to be level 11, and he's just so accelerated into this game.
Yeah, and the way that Corona Spaceship keeps shoving this lane forward, hopefully CG will be able to pick up the ability to put some deep wards down so they can go for good flanking maneuvers while they're shoved onto turret, but it just seems they just can't get the vision down besides in the river.
Corona Spaceship using this priority to start off the dragon here. We might see a fight. Bin Laden going in for this dragon, but he doesn't have smite, unfortunately. Priority is holding the smite, and he's going to secure that one away, and On Fleek is there to follow up his team, taking down everyone there. Good rotation through Casuarina Spaceship, but they had to see that coming because the bot lane was pushed under their tower. Their bot lane was just completely under their tower. They had no realistic way to get to that dragon very quick there, so not really an ideal contest there for the side of Casuarina Gentlemen.
Yes, and Hunt opting to go for Leandries. I quite like it actually. He could have gone either way for of those mythics, but I guess he wants the consistent burn damage throughout a team fight. I guess he is rich enough to make those choices, so bit of an aggressive push coming out of Pandemonium, but not being answered.
Yeah, personally when I play Victor, I like going Ludens when I'm ahead for that one-shot potential, but when I'm feeding my ass off, I always go Leandries because, yeah, you're not going to be bursting anyone out. It's better to just get those consistent lasers across the team, get that burn damage pumping. Even though you're behind, you can still rotate a lot of spells out into that fire, and that's where Leandries really shines. But if I have a lead like him, I'm looking to just straight up one-shot Malix. He should not be sitting in the same lane I am, honestly, a lot of the time. But he's putting out a lot of pressure. I think Hunt's already doing a plenty good job, especially with his CS, keeping those numbers extremely high into this game. And yeah, he's just sitting on a lot of gold. He's only going to get stronger when he backs.
Yeah, he's going to get to 2 items by 20 minutes by the looks of it. So, but I've never seen the top laners go to mid before. I think Blade XR. They're both just in mid lane farming and trading. I don't think I've seen it before.
Yeah, it's a bit strange because normally Victor's a bit more vulnerable into that top lane, but I think with how strong the Victor is, he's actually a lot better at split pushing than the Yorick at this point. Oh, we get an opportunity, maybe drop ult. Hunt holds onto it though. Saving it
Could have
for
just
any
flash
potential.
ulted, yeah.
But Malix of course has flash, probably would have made it out of play too. Victor's damage is very delayed over time, so a lot of times it's hard to get those quick kills. And look at them trying to catch out this Victor, but he's still saved everything, so I don't think they're going to find anything with Victor.
Not a good enough placed pillar, unfortunately.
Yeah, he ends up finding a way through, and he's going to try to trade back here onto Frog Spotter, but
Oh no.
not too much going to be happening. They have Corpo here with the Herald, Pandemonium with the Cage, Frog Spotter nowhere to go, and taken down quite swiftly there. Corpo probably going to drop the Herald, yeah, just continue to take towers, continue to feed this Victor. He's going to back for an Archangels probably on his next buy. It's a pretty good feeling to just be able to buy Archangels before you even completed that tier. That's when you really know you're ahead. You bought that tier really early, and you have enough gold to buy that Archangels out upright. And if they get a second tier here, it's just so disgusting for the gold there. Just another 800 gold given over to the side of Corona Spaceship, and Hunt is sitting on 3,000 gold for this back.
Oh, that's definitely rough for Casuarina Gentlemen, but they do have the composition to actually hold out some of these waves with Tristana and Ziggs, and hopefully they'll be able to stall. But Corona Spaceship pretty much playing a near flawless game, taking everything off the map and just starving out Casuarina Gentlemen.
Yeah, it's pretty clinical performance from them. Corpo has been amazing rotating around this map right now. And yeah, the laners have just been standing solid. No matter what Frog Sword is trying to do to them, they're finding their ways around it. And yeah, they've just created advantages in their own right. They're showing that mechanical prowess and the macro just to deliver. The Corona Spaceship is definitely not flashy by any means, but they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. On fleek, they're trying to make plays onto him, but this is a vein. They've got to be careful. He ends up getting the flash back onto the Frog Spotter there. Malik is trying to deal the damage, but he just digs too far behind. He gets the ult there, and he's going to take him down just with the autos, but here comes Pandemonium, looking to trade back. Maiden's going to help him out there. Sucked away Zig's soul, but the Conditioner and Rakan is close by.
He needs to get out. He needs to get out.
He doesn't have the rocket jump, so he's going to get taken down. And Hunt...
He had flash. Ooh.
The most painful part about all this is Hunt in the meantime is just still in the solo lane, still sieging towers. He's getting so much gold off of these plays, even though he's not killing any champions. Superman looking to get out, no cage.
Oh no.
And he's going to go into the lap of Hunt. He's going to burn everything just to drop that Rakan as the dragon comes up. So they get that one pretty easily here. I don't see a way for Casuarina Gentlemen to contest.
Yeah, they're just taking every single piece of gold off the map and just starving out Frog Spotter. He's just unable to get any gold onto himself. But we just got to hope, Casuarina Gentlemen, that Corona Spaceship actually take an early inhibitor so they can funnel gold into CG. But I don't think that's what Corona Spaceship's going to do. They're just going to starve him out over the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward, and you're at this state that trying to end the game. Baron's not too far away, so maybe an early game Baron can help you steal this one out. But yeah, getting those inhibitors isn't too easy to clear out, especially with good champions like Ziggs at wave clearing. You might end up just feeding them more gold. I don't know why Rakan's Wing that bush, and I think he's going to pay for it dearly here as On Fleet comes over on that blast cone. Crowbro says mine, and just picks up the kill. And yeah, they're probably not going to be able to find any more kills. The speed onto On Fleet, he's looking for it. Has the red buff. Trundle doesn't have the ultimate to get any resistances, and they're going to try and turn around the kill. Crowbro isn't going to go down though. Triumph and the shield coming through. Clutch, and On Fleek finding the beautiful play to outplay Malik's there. He's been catching people out with his condemned here. He's going to keep going. Has plenty of damage to take down that Tristana, and he ends up getting the triple kill in the bot lane here.
Yeah, that is the beauty of Kraken Slayer instead of going for a shield bow. So good purchasing decision for On Fleet there, able to clean up the rest of CG, and just like you said, Hunt on the side lanes just absolutely farming a clinic this game.
Yeah, he's literally just winning the game PvE style. He's got so much gold, like even though On Fleek's making those beautiful plays like that, he's still just so far behind Hunt in terms of gold. He's got at least 1,000 gold down on his mid laner here because of just that solo XP, the farming, the towers. He's just been picking it all up while his team's making his plays. So even if this team somehow messes up, they're still probably just going even at worst with the gold Hunt is generating on the side. So really good play from him. It's by no means spectacular. A lot of players want to make the flashy plays, or Pandemonium's going in for a bit of a catch out on the Frog Spotter, but yeah, that Trundle is quite tanky. Gonna just get out there, no problems.
That's what they wanted, because now they're going to start looking at Baron, but they opt to back away from it. I guess they just want to starve CG even further. They want to make a calculated play, and let's just hope Superman on this Rakan can find a godlike Rakan ultimate to try and turn this around. But CG should be practicing patience here and just trying to farm as much as possible to get those mythics up and to really just outlast Corona Spaceship, but it's looking more unlikely at this stage.
Yeah, Hunt's just solo frontlining here into 3 champions, and they're all running for their life here. They know the power this Victor holds, and it is a goddamn lot of power, so they're showing the necessary respect, but at some point, I'd say screw respect and just all in with the Rakan, do something. Even though his team was on the side there, you might be able to pick up this massive shutdown that he's sitting on, but they're giving away the priority, and now the problem of Baron exists here, and they're just going to straight give it over. No chance for them to consist outside of maybe Ziggs bomb.
Oh! Nah, not quite.
If the Casuarina didn't have a smite, definitely was scary move there, but unfortunately smite exists. Smite exists.
Oh, forced to burn the ultimate? No? Oh.
But yeah, they're just gonna drive down mid lane with this Baron buff. Hunt level 15 here to champions like Superman who are level 8, like what do you do at that point when you're 7 levels down as that Rakan? Hunt probably is daring him to engage as he'll probably just pop him instantly with the level difference.
Yeah, CG need to really force something here, but he's going to get soloed here by the looks of things, and a flash out from Hunt. And yeah, he's just that far ahead, he can just walk up to Malix, and Malix only had flash just till now, so,
Yeah, so
pretty
he
good
didn't hold
time
it.
there.
Didn't hold it this time. No one flame him. Stay away from my boy. But
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that damage.
Yeah, on Fleek is just pumping out the damage here. They're just taking it down, and it's a tough one. It's a tough game. Casuarina Gentlemen had a beautiful game versus Destiny where they're able to take them down by Chrono Spaceship. They're just too calculated. They don't give you any random advantages like Destiny. They're not gonna make coin flip plays. They're gonna play it by the book, and they're gonna take you down.
And if you give those comfort picks away to Chrono Spaceship, then they're definitely going to close out games in a very orderly fashion. But flawless game coming out of Chrono Spaceship.
Yeah, it was beautiful for sure. I'd say the only thing I'm a bit torn on is just MVPs and SVPs. Just normally have a pretty good idea after watching the game, but I'm probably gonna have to delve into the stats a bit more, try to find some arguing points on who to give it to. But we'll start off with the MVP discussion. Let's start there. But it's a bit hard. Hunt, I think he wasn't flashy, but he was always making the correct macro play. But I think MVPs are always about the flashy plays and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a bit hard. Yeah, I know.
So I want to give honorable mention to Hunt here for my vote. I'm not going to rule him out entirely, but I think honestly, Quopro had quite a good game at setting his team up for success here. I think On Fleek had some. Definitely On Fleek had the flashy plays. The flash condemns were beautiful. He did his Vayne mechanics were just splendid. He was kiting efficiently. He was making just plays under towers of Vayne, really knowing his limits. He really showed his mechanical prowess on that pick there. But I just really do like it when I see junglers like Quopro being so proactive into mid lane, and he recognizes win conditions so well, just playing around Hunt, who was already winning his lane, snowballing even further, dropping the Herald mid, just absolutely blowing up this mid to the point where Malix just doesn't get to play the game. I think that's just, if you're able to do that for your laner as a jungler, it's just such an easy win to convert over, and he played the early game perfectly. But
yeah,
what are your thoughts?
I'll tend to agree with you there. Quopro having the highest KP on his team besides On Fleek, and he was able to just play the jungle game to the point where he had set up ganks. He does what he's required to in the jungle, secure dragons and early rifts, able to accelerate the game and accelerate Victor, accelerate Vayne, and even Pandemonium at times, and really kind of shut out Trundle throughout the game in particular. It was more of a team effort, the macro decisions made by Chrono Spaceship. But yeah, I think Quopro and Sejuani had a pretty flawless game. So yeah, guess that gets my MVP vote as well.
Yeah, happy to give it over to Quopro. I really do like seeing intelligent jungle gameplay like that. He had some decent plays. Mechanically, he was by no means slashing either. Landed those ultimates, set up for those games beautifully. And yeah, it's really good game coming out of the Chrono Spaceship jungler. Now, SVP votes is... Sometimes when a game smash outs like this, it's always hard to pinpoint it, but I'm not sure if you can just take things at face value and look at kill participation or stuff like that, or damage. But yeah, there's no real sparks of hope here on the side of Casuarina Gentlemen, so it makes this vote so hard.
Yeah, and I feel like we can rule out bot lane and mid lane. They just fell pretty flat throughout the game. They had pretty much zero impact from the very get-go. Even though they blew Hunt's flash, they weren't able to capitalize on it. So it's really hard to give SVP to someone like Bin Laden with 0 KP throughout the entire game. It's just, my mind's telling me, I can't do it. And Trundle here just wasn't really able to get going, but was able to pick up a few early kills, but wasn't able to transition it into any sort of advantage.
Yeah,
at any part of the game. So
the negatives
a
are
bit tough.
definitely outweighing the positives for every one you look at. Unfortunately, the game just do sometimes go like that, but I think just at that point you can take stats at face value. Look at the kill participation. If anyone at least uh, tried to get Casuarina Gentleman back in it, it was Frog Spotter because he has 100% kill participation. That's usually a stat you hear and you're like, wow, what? This person had 100% kill participation.
Oh my gosh,
But
Play Dexter.
then you look
Yeah.
at the kills and you realize that was 3 kills and you're like, oh. But still, all the plays did happen around Frog Spotter here, so
Yeah.
I'd still say like not too many positives. That there are ways you can spin it into a positive and be like, well, Frog Spotter has 100% KP, but yeah, definitely wasn't a glorious game. But still, at the end of the day, someone has to pick up that SVP and like.
Yeah.
If everyone else had 100% kill participation on the side of Casuarina Gentleman, I think they'd have a much more successful game. So I'm gonna give that one over to Frog Spotter here. So
Yeah, I'll agree with you there for sure.
that one has been decided. We've got a little bit of time, so I'm sure you probably need a little bit of a break after your game. I'm sure everyone else needs a little bit of break, so we'll probably head to a quick 10-minute intermission before the next match, guys. Don't go anywhere. It's the final matchup of the night. Young Bloods and For Fun duking it out.
Ooh.
And For Fun's trying to make their way back up the ladder, and Young Bloods are going to try to hold on to that top position. So we'll see whether things have shaken up since the last time they faced off, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
I'll see you soon.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am back here. We have had a little bit of a hold up. Of course, things can't go too well on a night, otherwise, I know the world's probably going to end. So, Youngbloods do have a player who is currently arriving a little bit late.
Ooh.
So he's got the timer ticking though. So we'll see if we can get that done swiftly.
What is the timer, Blade XR, just for our audience, our viewers?
15-minute timer. Every 3 minutes you will lose a ban in Champion Select.
Okay.
So we've been tardy before, but I think this case is just pretty silly for a player to do what he's done. Just for a bit of bans. Just for a bit of bans. Basically, one of the players has started a normal game for their match, and he's probably getting held hostage by his teammates, something not forfeiting. But yeah, basically that's the risk you run when you start a game like 20 minutes before your match. Not many games end before 20 minutes, so maybe you should have done a better job of running it down or making them run it down.
Besides your match with Purple Cobras, it would be rather swift if he doesn't get it. But just I want to reflect back onto the previous game. Hopefully, CG will be able to look over the footage and see what they did wrong. But it's pretty hard when the lanes have become stagnant and nothing really happens. So hopefully they get a bit more practice in and get their confidence back up, because they are an upcoming team and it's good to see them come up like this. So.
But yeah, we do have a little bit of time anyway, so hopefully I can do something fun. We'll get the spin wheel out of the way for tonight. So I've been taking down some names during our break here. I'm going to pull up the spin wheel And we'll see if we can give away some prizes here. So if I've got everything working for me this week. A little bit off axis, but pretty much perfect there. But yeah, we're just gonna give it a spin. Hopefully you guys are sticking around in chat here, and we'll see if we can win someone a prize tonight. Oh, and I don't have to search for him. I put you've been chatting all the time. I was just like, Chris hasn't been getting enough Hall's Ice coffees recently or something. I'll put your name in it, and you still. This just looks biased, honestly. Maybe I shouldn't have done this, but it's still, you guys can look. It was a 1 out of 7 chance. But yeah, my co-caster here ends up just getting the victories here. So I guess that's not going to be too hard to work out.
Yeah, that doesn't look good, but at the same time, it's fine. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, guys. You guys should have just been talking in chat, and then it would have been a smaller chance for us to look dodgy. So, but now we are going to spin the prize reel. And we'll see what Chris is able to pick up. Oh, a McDonald's voucher. Maybe that McDonald's you're looking for is actually a lot easier.
Oh my god, bro. Oh.
A lot closer than you think. But yeah, you pick up a McDonald's voucher. I'm not sure exactly what that entails. Could be lifetime supply. Could be cheeseburger. Maybe you have to spin another wheel that David has. But yeah, you'll have to claim that through David tonight.
Yeah.
We can organize that ourselves. I don't have to link you anything here. Right?
I feel like I'm in danger because I live within 100 meters of McDonald's. So I guess it is a well-deserved award. Or prize.
They're just giving it out to you for being a patron, you know, just being a neighbor. Little
That's
friendly
it.
neighborhood stuff. But yeah, still have some time. The clock is ticking, I believe. That's already been 3 minutes, so they've lost 1 band. But I don't know how we're gonna fill the dead air in the meantime, because they say 1 minute, but remains to be seen.
So if it hits 8:07, that's 2 bands, I believe. So
Yep. So we'll see. Maybe we should just spectate the normal game he's playing and just roast him or something like that. So these players won't do this again. It hasn't happened. I gotta admit, in the competition, a lot of people normally are just trying to fit in that last minute ARAM and ends up going like 30 minutes or something, and they're showing up late. This is the
he
first
did
time.
not use his brain, unfortunately.
But starting a normal, it's pretty unlikely for that to end unless your team's getting smashed.
Yeah, I guess he loves League that much. He's like, yeah, I think I got time. And then it comes back to bite him, unfortunately. So
it's always like, oh, there's 30 minutes left to my match. The 30 minutes is about the average span of a league game, and then you have the queue, then you have the champ select, then you have the loading screen, and then you have the game, and it's like, oh wait, it's not 30 minutes at all.
Pretty much 1/4 of the game is just all those components. So
yeah, it catches up on you, and we find ourselves on the receiving end tonight. Young bloods, who knows, that it actually might bite them for fun. They have been trying to make this comeback happen. It hasn't been going awesome thus far, but yeah, they've definitely been trying to make a comeback in this competition. And I believe yeah, go on, sorry.
Just trying to think. So if they lose all 3 bands, essentially, does that mean they miss out on first rotation or halfway through first and second rotation of bands?
If they lose 3 bands, I think first rotation or just first, second, third, and fourth will probably be the easy way to do things.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Fami get an invite. That's a name probably veterans haven't heard in a while, but I don't know who's inviting Fami. Deck Girls is no longer playing in Northern Territory Sports, but I'm sure if you guys go, you can watch the footage of the old guard Deck Girls making, I think, top 3 season 1. But yeah, right now the clock's ticking for Artur. Artur also being a veteran, also really being a bit of a troll the whole way, but you gotta love him for it sometimes, you gotta hate him for it sometimes.
Oh well. Yeah, hopefully he learns from this mistake. Django just typing a bit of fun stuff in the chat, but hopefully he's able to reel his guys in. It's not like it's a big deal, but it could cost him the game. You never know. So hopefully for fun can capitalize on these technically 3 bands in the next 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, for fun, looking to make that comeback happen. Like I said here, they do have a bit of a roster tonight, so I'm basically not knowing much going into this match what they're going to do. It's always hard to tell with For Fun as they have a lot of TFT players what their actual ranks are. So it's just like, oh my god, you look at the stacked roster and you're like, oh my god, this roster looks like it's going to take the competition, but then a lot of it's TFT rank. But that by no means does that make them bad. It's not anything. That just TFT rank is, in my opinion, a lot easier to get than League of Legends rank.
I mean, it's also a lot more enjoyable as well. Solo queues definitely requires a lot of patience and grit to actually get through those games.
I think if anything, like a lot of us have been playing League from like season 2, season 3 or something, and we're just struggling to scrape like platinum and fucking gold and silver and stuff. But in TFT, you've got like just a few games in, you start playing ranked and you're already picking up gold, and you're like, oh, you study the game a bit, then you're picking up platinum. It's like feels a lot easier to climb in that game than original League. Like if only original League was that forgiving and you could pick it up that quick, but League's hard, man. League's hard.
Yeah, League is definitely hard, and just looking, it's kind of inquired me to Google how much time I've actually spent on League, so I think I'll do that in the meantime.
Oh my god.
'Cause I believe you can search that up now.
That's so funny though, what I've just seen in chat.
Oh my gosh, but
I think For Fun we're like studying their opponent, and a lot of we do this too, where it goes the other two, we're like listing out bands and possible characters they're gonna play before the match, but then someone on For Fun just pasted it into the chat for young buds to see. So they're just like giving away their research there.
I mean, I guess a bit of a flex, but I guess if you're gonna be late, then yeah, I guess it's allowed to have a little bit of banter.
I started the timer at 8:02 and it's currently 8:10, so I believe
One more minute.
Do we want to round up that ban, or nah? We'll take 2 bans off if they get an auto. Get an auto.
I mean, yeah. So
they just started it, but
all right.
we'll
so
take I'll tell
2 bans or 3 bans? I think it's
bans
important to
lost.
establish here.
2 bans lost.
Okay.
I've messaged Yango. We'll be kind. They started us off really quick here. To make it back up, I'm going to transition us over. Oh my god, I had all that time and I forgot to do the logos, so maybe I'm the one.
Oh, yeah, time now because they have empty bans, so
yeah.
it's time to change that.
But yeah, maybe I should be the one getting punished here. I'm never on the ball with with these things. Just ignore all the mistakes I'm making, guys. Top quality production. But yeah, definitely does feel a bit bad when you have to let that timer run down. But
yeah, I mean, hopefully this game ends at 9 o'clock, so to speak, but you never know. It could be a game that we've played for 45 to 50 minutes. It really depends, but I'm sure these teams are probably more evenly matched in terms of rank, so hopefully these bans or empty bans coming out of Youngbloods will hopefully not bite them later on, but
yeah,
we'll just have to see how
I
it
hope
plays
they
out.
didn't have like a well-developed like strategy around it, and then your players late, so you lose bans. That'd probably feel pretty bad. But yeah, by no means have they lost yet. They still have a shot at this game. Just losing a little bit of leniency in the draft phase here, and I think it's pretty interesting to see the Zoe ban here. Their staple Zoe player, Dark Knight, isn't actually playing right now, and I don't think Artur plays it, so interesting ban coming away. They're just the legacy of Dark Knight lives on in the mid lane, it seems, and they're just taking it away.
Yeah, he's definitely proficient on the champion, and you don't know how to play against it, then it definitely catches you off guard. And he was able to play it versus Purple Cobras, but I don't know if any other teams are going to let it through. But hopefully he gets another chance to play a bit of spicy Zoe. But Norla's being locked in here. Pretty staple support coming out of FF.
That's 3 for 3 support's first pick tonight, though, so I find that pretty interesting stat. I don't think we're usually first picking supports in the scene, but again, like the first round for the enemy team, another support comes through. A lot of these teams have transitioned their draft to support first picks.
Yeah, we usually try to get a little bit of flex picks involved, but generally our draft does involve picking support a little bit early because it allows my teammates a bit more freedom when it comes to picking their champions, because I seem to get target banned a bit. But Yeah, a bit odd that we actually see 2 support picks in the first rotation of both teams.
Yeah, almost every game tonight. I think every first pick was a support, and then at 2 of those games, it was immediately responded by another support. But it makes sense to
Yeah.
respond to support once you actually see the opponent support. But still, like that first pick support really getting some work tonight, and Kindred is going to be locked away. Thresh and Sejuani for the size of Youngbloods. We haven't seen. Well, Big Buddha Troy, I'm pretty sure is fast runner. So that's just a different account. Pretty sure it's the same guy. So he loves his
Yep.
book champions. So no surprise to see Thresh come out of him, and Nick Chu, of course, on that Sejuani staple pick there. And
Oh,
yeah, the side of for fun here, they're drafting a lot of AD carry-esque champions here. Kindred in the jungle, of course, being that AD carry. Tristana probably for their bot laner here. They're definitely gonna have to look to draft some more magic damage dealers, and I'd say some more champions to stand in front of said AD carries. But if you're looking at the side of Youngbloods here, you can really start to pick champions that specialize into these AD carries and make it hard for them to play. But I
yeah,
guess
they can definitely lock in some champions like Malphite, but they've already picked Urgot
Yeah.
and Sejuani and Thresh, so that's probably why they've opted for a double 80 carry composition. Tristana is a bit of a flex pick as well, but it's kind of a given that it might be going to the bot lane because they do need some AP damage as they've already locked in the Nautilus support by the looks of things. So
yeah, there's always like Zig's bot in the meta if you need, and like some pseudo as like Cogmore maybe. But like, yeah, I feel like if you're going down that route, yeah, your team becomes really squishy, and who knows, Artor might be able to bring out an assassin or two to really punish these squishy champions coming through. But
I wouldn't mind actually seeing a Lee Sin mid going into this composition, but it is pretty hard mechanically to pull it off. But yeah, Malphite banned here, so they immediately recognize that.
yeah,
I guess they don't like that heavy engage.
if they draft something like an assassin mid laner, then it leaves it a bit awkward if they have to pick their AD carry to pick the magic damage, like because a lot of your assassins are AD here. So if Artor's thinking of playing something like the Zed, and then they draft another AD and their team's basically all AD, then I'd say the Malphite's a nightmare. But it seems like they're hovering the edge, or leaving mid to be last, save and counter pick. I wonder what's the percentage is for mid lane counter pick this tournament, being the last pick on the red side. I think at least 50% of the teams leave their mid lane to last for counter pick here.
Yeah, we kind of do it on purpose for JSA, but yeah, looking at all the games in the past, yeah, it seems to be half the time they kind of leave a counter pick in the mid. Mid lane does affect the map quite a bit in terms of every lane or in jungle in general, but Lucian actually a decent flex pick here because Artur and Shifting actually play that champion.
Yep.
So we'll just have to see what they pan out here. They might look for the Ziggs in the bot lane, Tristana mid. No, Ornn in the top side.
Yeah, Ornn being taken away. We needed some tanky champions to be standing in front, and yeah, Corruption, hovering Syndra, hovering all these champions. Who is he gonna pick? He's teasing us.
Well, he should be. I liked when he hovered TF. It really goes well with their composition, especially with Kindred and Ornn able to scale well. But the luck's actually being looked at. Oh, here we go.
Oh, well, Diana in the mid lane, not in the jungle this time. So you're probably gonna have a lot of experience.
Actually, I've seen Kindred mid being pulled off in the LCK, and Diana goes in the jungle. I believe DWG pulled this off 2 weeks ago, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen here. But yeah, Kindred pretty much farms for free in the mid lane, but pretty sure that's in the jungle, and Diana is mid.
Yeah, I do think that it just makes it a lot harder for Mark. I have honestly no idea if Darmon played that day crazy. I just think as Kindred, it could never really go into AD carry roles and stuff like that, just because of Mark nature. What happens when it spawns topside scuttle? You're just like, well, never gonna get that one. I guess you really do rely on getting your kills to gain those marks. Otherwise, I feel like Kindred's a pretty underwhelming champion without that. But looks like they've locked it away. Diana in the mid lane into the Lissandra. I think that's a pretty difficult matchup for the Diana. By no means impossible, but yeah, you lose a lot of playmaking potential into that for sure, right?
Yeah. Personally, in solo queue, I've never lost to a Lissandra. If you play Diana perfectly, then you can actually counter the champion. Unless you get 2v2, then you pretty much lose and you're forced to Zhonya's. But I'm not sure if Kindred and Ornn actually swapped or they're just not in pick order, but we'll just have to wait till we actually get into the loading screen.
Yeah, I think.
Because I've never seen Ornn jungle before, I believe.
Yeah, I think Corruption probably told me that they may have swapped depending on the bans and stuff like that. So
Oh, okay.
gave me
Yeah.
some warning. So yeah, it looks like they are opting to swap those two around here, and
Yep.
yeah, they've drafted themselves a pretty okay team composition. Yeah, they've got pretty consistent damage through the 80 carries and definitely some great engage tools. Diana, Nordless, Ornn. I like their composition a lot. And Kindred can keep that backline safe with her ultimate. And
Yep.
on the side of Youngbloods, it's a lot more difficult to see that damage. Lucian's going to have to be putting out a lot of work here unless the Urgot gets completely massive somehow. But yeah,
And Django's
Lissandra-
known for that too.
yeah, Lissandra's not known for her damage. We'll see what Artor can pull off on the champion, but there's a lot of damage needs to come out from this Lucian, and Lucian's not exactly the hyper scaling 80 carry that he used to be. He's not a late game monster by any means, so we'll see whether they're able to pull this sort of composition off, or if For Fun have gotten themselves a draft victory. Because if I was to take off the name tags, I'd probably give it to the left side composition here.
Yeah, they outdrafted Youngbloods quite well here. Besides Django and Nichu actually going on comfort picks here, to actually pull off Lissandra in a team fight and Lucian in a team fight, then Thresh picking up the slack, it's going to be a bit hard for them to pull off. In the 2v2, Diana and Kindred pretty much win at all stages of the game, unless they're really hard CC'd. So yeah, Team for Fun looking pretty good in draft phase. Hopefully they'll be able to translate that into the actual game.
Yeah, I'm excited, but we've got 1 minute left, so we're going to get our sponsor shoutouts out of the way tonight, guys. Of course, the Territory's own Paul's Ice Coffee, Northern Territory Government, and McDonald's Darwin. They're sponsoring us, they're sponsoring our events, they're helping us out so much, guys. Make sure you're giving them some love, make sure you're buying their products. Already given out a McDonald's voucher away tonight, plenty more to be given out, plenty more Paul's Ice Coffee. I'm pretty sure if you just even hit up David's probably got plenty to give out. Like, just rock up to one of his entertainment events. I'm sure he'll just be tossing them out to the crowd or something. but yeah, guys, make sure you send some love their way, and of course send out some love to our minor sponsors, our local businesses here: Next Year Entertainment, Serotonin Beauty, VR Gamers, Gaming Creations, Tracy Village Social and Sports Club, Howard Springs Tavern, The Rabbit Hole, Palace of India, Fresh Point Cafe, John John's Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting. Wow. One day I'm going to get really good at rapping that, and I'll have some like insane rhythm and flow or something, and I'll be able to just bust that out and impress some people or something. I've said it so much, but right now I'm getting a bit tired, but hopefully I can power through this last game here. We are just getting into loading screen, and I'm excited to see what sort of keystone you'd take as Lissandra into this matchup, because a lot of the times in the past when you're into these champions that want to dive on you, like
Okay.
a lot of the time, yeah, in the past you'd like taking aftershock into these champs that like to dive on you just to negate a lot of their burst damage, but he's gone the other way, and he's just gonna, if you're gonna dive on me, I'm gonna try to burst you down too, rocking that electrocute in the mid lane on that Lissandra here. So
Are we going to see Night Harvester Lissandra? Let's find out. But Electrocute, definitely very aggressive early on. Hopefully Artur has good lane control, can keep Corruption in place, because the last thing they want is Diana roaming with Kindred, as she has Ignite and Artur has TP. So they're going to be looking for those early roams by the looks of things, and trying to take advantage of Nichu in the jungle early, as Kindred has opted to go for Conqueror instead of PTA. What are your thoughts on that? Was that more of a late game rune, or they just don't want to snowball with Kindred hard early with PTA?
I think into these like champions like Sejuani, Urgot, you're probably going to get more value at more often than not out of the Conqueror early game. I think PTA always is better, but as you go into like say level 9, that's when Conqueror starts to shine. These fights tend to get a bit longer because they're building tanky stats. So yeah, I can definitely see the Conqueror. They're going to be having to put out like a lot of consistent damage for their team with his double 80 carry setup, so a lot of damage is probably going to be reliant on the back of that Kindred, so she's going to be trying to pump out as much autos as she can. And going the other direction though, I think in the top lane normally we see Urgot take Conqueror and not PTA.
I think Django's known for his PTA.
Yeah, Django definitely loves it, but I just got to say, into a champion like Ornn, you're probably going to be pumping like at least 50 little 50 little bullets from your W into that Ornn, and that PTA is going to feel a little bit less impressive. Of course, early game, the poke's going to feel pretty good, but yeah, you might want to go the other way later on. Once you're around that level 9 mark again, you're going to have that permanent W, and you're probably going to want that Conqueror and that extra all-in it brings.
Sustainability, yeah. And if he goes for the Titanic Rush, which he really likes, it's probably going to bite him more later on, as he didn't complete a Mythic, and as soon as Ornn gets going, it's really hard just to try and kill that champion in general, because he's so damn tanky. But pretty standard starts coming out of both FF and Youngbloods, but Nickchu opting to go for the red side start, maybe looking for a top lane gank early on.
Yeah, they realize the win con pretty early on here. This Lucian pretty much needs to get ahead, and look how aggressive they're already playing. Greedo getting hooked straight away, a big trade going to go onto him. Don't think any kills will come through, but yeah, a big health chunk off that Tristana and some XP denied is going to give them such a boost to this laning phase. And with Sejuani parting bot lane too, it might just be a ticking time bomb already on that bot lane. It's just small players like that can set you up for success, and shown immaculately here by the Youngbloods bot lane just how much damage you can do with just a small level 1 play like that.
Yeah, and it's going to be really tough for Greedo, but unfortunately Shifting is shoving this lane early. It looks like they want to go for a level 2 tower dive, but I don't think they're going to opt for it. It's pretty hard to pull off this early in the game, but Greedo able to farm safely under turret. Does take a little bit of poke there, but yeah, does not get punished until maybe Sejuani comes along, like you mentioned.
This mid lane probably goes the way of the Lysandra until those level 3s, and that's when Diana can really start forcing those all-ins, as she just brings so much more damage than the Lysandra, but you have to always be playing around that jungle. Of course, Lysandra having ridiculous gank setup. It's always a bit scary when you commit to that all-in on that Diana, but I think with the Kindred hovering around, she's got nothing to fear here, so right now Artur has the push, but yeah, I definitely see Diana start to push that lane back out now that the levels have evened out at level 3.
And the gold already coming towards Youngbloods here. They already have a 400 gold lead.
You'd expect
I believe Kindred actually went for the invade, but a very intelligent play coming out of Nichu doing red start and did not get exposed early on, so that worked out for him. But Diana setting up a slow push here, might get counter ganked by Sejuani.
Yeah, look at this mid lane play. They're setting up for it. Artur's just going to try to dip out of there. Sejuani not in place. But yeah, he's hovering around now. They see him with the ward. They're going to continue for this play. The bot lane hasn't rotated over, but they're going to drop the teleport. Here comes Django opting in for the play, but they don't have the lockdown onto Corruption. They're going to flash in. Does Nickchu have the W up in time? No, it wears off. He's not able to get that stun. And now Kel'Thas is in there. Nickchu's left alone versus Corruption. Corruption's dropping the Ignite. He's tanking the Raptors. So much external damage he's taking, and his team's not there to back him up. And Kindred is placed the mark perfectly there. Knew he was going to play aggressive onto Nickchu, and he ends up getting a mark onto Nickchu. Look at what's happening bot lane though. Springding and Big Buddha Troy are looking for a play onto Greedo. Nice jump timing, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They're going to dash over. He has flash, but so does Lucian. One more auto, he takes it. But here comes the Kindred. They've used all their abilities. They've used all their summoners. Kindred's coming here to trade Bell off onto that Thresh, and he picks another one.
Wow.
This Kindred's getting big, and Corruption is here looking for more. He's going onto Springding. He lands the hook. It's done. Says it's done, and he hooks that Lucian, and that's a big early lead there for Fun to get for themselves.
Yeah, very good start coming out of FF, firing on all cylinders and recognizing that people didn't have their summoners because they expended it onto Greedo. So overall, a very intelligent play coming out of Team FF, and hopefully they can take advantage of this bot lane even more, as Shifting still has a gold lead by a substantial margin.
Yeah, but that Kindred definitely got a super boost right there. He was down almost half Nickchu's farm. It was like 12 to 24 because of that early pathing like you mentioned, but he's able to bounce back just as quick here, finding 3 kill participation and just springboarding himself into the lead here, and Nickchu's got to be finding his way back into the game here. Django's built himself a pretty solid lead in his own right, and honestly, things are not too bad for the mid lane, even though the kills went Corruption's way. Artur was able to crash a whole wave into that tower, so I think at worst it's probably even in the mid lane now. But he's gotta feel bad having a blue buff onto that Lissandra. I mean,
No.
on that Diana. He's got no flash here. He's trying to find his way out.
He
He's
can look
running
to
for
turn.
jungle.
He can look to turn.
His jungler's on the way here. They have really long cooldowns on the side of Youngbloods, and here is Kindred. They're going for the play. Nixu's still committing to it. The shield comes through for Corruption. He's going to go down, but they find the kill.
Ooh.
Artur has the passive, but unfortunately Kindred is just so fed. Spring Ding is here with the Lissandra pad. The smite onto the dragon helps him out even more. There's a plant there, but he doesn't opt to hit it. Spring Ding
he lost
picks it up.
vision. Oh, close.
Spring Ding picks it up. The bot lane is looking for more, though they might try and find another play, but looks like they're just going to go back to bot lane. And an even trade comes through. 2 for 2, but that Kindred just picked up another couple of kills there. I got to look at her stacks and see what she's sitting on. Still 1 stack. She didn't find any marks there onto those kills, but still 4 kills. Got to have that Kindred sitting pretty in that jungle position.
So Lucian picking up a small shutdown there, and hopefully he'll be able. He did buy a pickaxe on the way back, but Corruption always throwing out his Qs on Diana, which is okay when your jungler's ahead. I guess he's really trying to rush level 6 and look for those level 6 power spike plays, as Diana's well known for. But hopefully Lissandra can hold her, so to speak. But I really am a bit biased towards the champion because always being looked at here.
Yeah, but watch out, the Kindred is on the way. He has the ult available. He's set up so well for the Kindred, and the turnaround is there. Artur and Nixu are going to go down to that Kindred, and this Kindred is just so massive into this game. Spring Ding
so fed.
is definitely the person you want to be fed in this game, but if you compare to this Kindred right now, they're not even close.
Oh no.
Big Buddha Troy now getting caught out. Greedo's not able to find the kill onto that Thresh, but the flash being burned and their health being gone, it gives them so much breathing space into this lane. And look at this Kindred. She's actually getting converged on. The Urgot's coming down, trying to find it. The Kindred is level 6 though, so it's going to be very hard for that Urgot to find that kill.
Oh. No. Oh, I tried to do the big IQ play, but Big Voodoo did not bite on that.
Yeah,
But man,
tried to fake him out, see if he flinched, but unfortunately Big Buddha Troy does not flinch.
Big Buddha Troy. Hopefully they can pick up a free plate here, but they're going to opt to back off. I guess they don't have the timers quite down in terms of how long it takes for someone to get back to lane. They really want to funnel some gold into this Tristana. Behind by a couple of 100 gold is never good against Lucian. As soon as he hits level 6, I'm sure they're going to go for that big boy play with Big Voodoo in the bot lane. And Casuarina also hitting level 6 as well, but yeah, things are looking a bit tough for Youngbloods. Hopefully they're able to compose themselves to come back, but as soon as Diana finishes that Night Harvester, well, it's going to be even tougher.
Yeah, but just look at this jungle gap right here. There is so much gold on this Kindred compared to that poor Sejuani. About 1,700 gold in the jungle there. It's so much for a Sejuani to be dealing with at this point. Looks like they have the bot priority, so they're going to be able to pick up an early dragon, but I think this Kindred's well on her way to her first mythic, and when she completes that, she's going to be running all around the map, I imagine. And look at who she's just marked. She's marked the Lucian. Looks like they want to put a stop to this man's lead here. They're going to look to try punish this Lucian now.
Yeah, and looks like Lucian is keeping Youngblood's head afloat. But Nixu always looking for these trades in the mid lane. Really want to get this R2 on Lissandra going, but Kindred always at the right place at the right time. Will he get caught out again?
Oh, no, they've caught him out completely. He's gone in. He has flash, but the lockdown is just too strong. Yeah, Corruption. With no knowledge, he's probably been ganked so much, he's not here again, is he? He's like, I'm under my tower. There's no way Nixu's there, but Nixu is always there, my friend. Nixu never leaves. And yeah, he gets punished by another gank in the mid lane. Looks like they're trying to set up for the bot lane. He missed the hook, but you cannot miss that Nordis ultimate as he drops it onto the big Buddha Troy with no flash, and they capitalize accordingly there. Sping Ding sitting under his tower. We'll see whether they punish further, because I believe that Kindred has that Herald.
Both TPs up for the top laners now, but they're going to opt not to go for a Rift drop just yet. I think they want to save it more for the mid lane to open up the map a little bit more. I believe Corruption on Diana is like, let's open up the map so I don't get ganked as much. But Artur opting to go for Ludens this early. What are your thoughts on that purchase by Artur?
I think one of the main issues with Lissandra after the patches is she just really doesn't have a comfortable mythic here, so having that extra mana I think definitely helps out your laning phase early on, but as you get into the team fights you're probably wishing you went some of those other options. Even some options like the Liandries can really amplify your damage in the team fights, or the Rocket Belt can help you get in position for some big plays. Artur just going to get out of that one. It has Flash, has the E. Unfortunately Diana has no terrifying CC, she can knock you up for a small moment, but yeah, after that, it's pretty pathetic.
And they're going to pick up 2 plates here.
Yeah, trying to get some gold back into the pocket of their mid laner, but mostly going to Kindred there. Kindred building her lead even more. Actually going to make a play onto Corruption here. Yeah, just CCs him perfectly and setting up for the Lucian, and the Lucian might keep going. He doesn't have the culling unfortunately for that support, but yeah, you guys got to keep playing around that Kindred. Corruption has been taking most of the deaths and his jungler has been picking them all up. He's by no means strong, so Lissandra is not afraid to make those plays on him.
And they're definitely going to pick up 3 plates in return in the mid lane, so they actually win out in the Rift fiasco that happened just a moment ago. But a bit of a hook going wide there for Big Voodoo, but he is strong enough to take this 2v1
yeah, and look,
if he
Greedo
wants to.
Is there. Greedo is looking for the play. The Lantern is there to save him, but yeah, it's definitely scared there for a moment. Lucian was versus this strong Kindred. She hasn't hit that Kraken Slayer yet. I can only assume she's going towards with that build, but once she has that completed, it's going to be crazy amounts of damage coming out of Kindred.
And it's going to be really hard for them to utilize this lockdown CC if Kindred can just pretty much blow the ultimate whenever they go for a hard engage. So until those team fights happen, it looks like Youngbloods do have the slight upper hand of a lot of lockdown onto Corruption on this Diana.
Yeah, Django just playing his top lane now. It's very slow and sure that, like we said, he has no conqueror, so forcing out these long extended trades is probably not going to go in his favor versus the Ornn here. He's just trying to get the CS advantage, keep him pushed up so he can look for those teleports, look for those rotates. But yeah, the Ornn is just steadily scaling, and I think once he unlocks those ornaments for that Kindred, the Kindred is going to become even scarier. Look at this Northus though, looking for an angle onto the Thresh there. He's getting the CC lockdown. The teleport does come through for Artur. They're going to look for the play. He finds the hook. They're going to get the Northus here picked up super easy. Unfortunately, Thresh picks up the kill there, but still a positive play nonetheless for the Youngblood side here. Corruption getting caught out a little bit. He has to be careful because Artur is on his way, but he's able to get out of that. But unfortunately, bot lane look like they're caught out here. They're going to try and burst down Tristana. If she's able to get out, no, he does not. He's the flash under the tower, but this is exactly what Kindred wants though. She wants to get all the kills, pick them all up. And what's going on in the mid lane? Corruption's trying to find the 1v1 onto Artur. He flashes in, but he doesn't have enough damage like you said. And he's going to go down to Artur, and they're going to look to try and get this mid lane tower. Kindred is striking all over the map, but unfortunately, Youngbloods are swinging at all these laners that have just been taking a beating.
Oh, Django going for the sneakies. And he might find it.
Oh, he goes for the flash play. He has the ultimate to lay it down. I think he's going to get pulled in, and there it is. He finds the kill onto that on there. Beautiful setup from Django, using the flash to get that guaranteed E. But look at this.
A bit of a mistake coming out of. Unfortunately, the Ornn did not buy an early Bramble, so he's susceptible to that 1v1 kill potential coming out of Django. Now, Django has a good lead. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there, Blade Exo.
No, it's fine. I just want to notice this Kindred's itemization already building that Bramble. Oh, not that Bramble. That last Whisper to cut down any of the armor that this Urgot and this Sejuani are going to be building. He actually doesn't go for that play quite intelligently because he knows there's a possibility of Youngbloods being bot side, and he probably doesn't know all 5 of them are hovering at the top side of the map, which is pretty.
Here we go.
It's pretty interesting because there's no Herald alive at the moment. I hope it's spawning soon. Otherwise, they're just giving free gold on the bot side for no reason. And
yeah, and a bit of a misplay coming out of Youngbloods here, able to funnel gold into Tristana and Nautilus and free tower essentially.
I think that play would have been completely fine if the the Kindred took the bait onto that Urgot there because the team was going to catch him out. But Kindred playing this game perfectly, like knows his limits, doesn't go for that coin flip play onto that Urgot. That was surely a kill in the 1v1, but unfortunately the Youngbloods team was converging and he knew, so he plays around that perfectly there. And now we're seeing if For Fun can set up for this dragon.
Very aggressive build coming out of Kindred, opting to go for the last Whisper, which is pretty sensible in hindsight, as the tanks on their team haven't quite itemized armor just yet, besides the Sejuani. But I guess really wants to accelerate armor penetration going into this matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, we've got a pause coming in right before this dragon fight, I believe. But yeah, this Sejuani has just stacked all this armor up. Gonna need to be carrying these fights, using that armor penetration to make sure she's able to take down the front line. That Urgot himself probably has plenty of base armor, and yeah, the armor coming through on the mid lane, already a good purchase coming out of Kindred, cutting down so much of that armor that Youngbloods have itemized here. So we've had Keratin try solo carry a game today. His team wasn't able to just supplement him, and it's looking the same here. I'm wondering if XQC, I almost called him, but he's not. he's not a juicer. It's SQZ. It's close. It sounds extremely similar, so I forgive myself. You guys don't have to forgive me. I forgive myself. But SQZ here on this Kindred is going to have to put in a lot of work because there's not too much strength coming into his other lanes. The only other mythics are in the top and the middle, but neither of his bot laners have their mythics, and it's the opposite on the side of Youngbloods. They've completed Locket and Gale Force, so probably going to have a little bit of power differential on the bot lane. But we are back in. Looks like they're grouping up together, trying to secure that Kindred marks. They end up getting it. There's always a little bit of a freeze after a pause, I've noticed, so we're just catching up here. But yeah, I'm expecting to see a big dragon fight soon here. It's not often we see the 5v5s. Oh, I just want to see an all-out 5v5 at the dragon early game.
Yeah, I want to see if SQZ has the mechanics of Kindred, which is not really hard to pull off, but the timing of that ultimate could be really crucial going into this dragon.
And speaking of timings, they actually don't have the timer on Django's teleport here. This could be a 4v5 potentially. Django doesn't have. He's trying to play up so that he can stop this Ornn from teleporting. But they actually don't know that they could straight up force a 4v5 at the dragon here if they really want that objective. It's just it'd come at the cost of their top tower, guaranteed here, with Django pushing up. Big Voodoo Troy might get hooked here, and he does. He lands the hook, he lands all the CC, and the Aftershock's not going to help you versus that last Whisper. SQZ drops the ult real early just to make sure the Lucian doesn't make any crazy plays onto him. But he's going to play safe here. He's playing around this Lissandra. Lissandra has everything up. He's actually going to flash. He misses the W. He's going to try and eat out of there, but the burn might just take him down. Not quite there.
They can clearly burst the dragon.
Yeah, but they're turning around onto the dragon. Corruption can't do anything, but they're going to try to convert this into a mid-lane tower. Looks like the mark is spawning on the Raptor camp too, so they can find some extra value for their jungler.
So I would say that's worth,
Nixiu and Springding coming through, maybe looking for the play here. They're going to face check in, but not going to start anything off. Kindred's actually still only on 3 marks. She needs 1 more. I thought this Kindred would be on far more marks, but unfortunately she's just not been marking the right targets when she's getting these kills. But right now, this Django is surely doomed. Look at the conversion. There's no flash on Django. 4 champions. Just avert your eyes, kids. You don't want to see what happens next. SQZ picks up another kill on this Kindred. And honestly, at this point, I'm not sure if you want to keep feeding the Kindred anymore. She's plenty accelerated. Maybe giving the kills over to that Tristan and distributing the power is what you need to win, because it really is all or nothing on this Kindred. If he makes a mistake, or if this Lissandra goes all in just to deny this Kindred, that's a lot of your gold down the drain there. If Nixiu and Artor just team up, just take down this Kindred, it's going to be very hard for them to win a team fight. Corruption is in a very bad spot here, though. No flash. I think he's doomed. Yeah, not too much. He's doomed. I thought correct. Let's just say that. And Kindred has already the Lord Dominic's. She's doing a lot of damage to these tankier members, and they're actually pulling off a dive in the mid lane, trying to kill. It's done. That do not find the culling or the hook onto It's Done there. Nice teleport at the very end there, and they're gonna find the ult, and that's what happens when you have Lissandra. You can just completely deny some characters at a click of a button. Maybe he should have been looking to itemize something like the QSS early on, because this is going to be happening to him consistently as the sole carry. Artor knows it, Nick Shu knows it. They're going to be trying to shut down this Kindred in fight, so I think he has to itemize that QSS ASAP.
Yeah, and now Corruption is probably looking back and realizing maybe I should have taken teleport into this game. But, ooh, might get soloed here.
This is definitely going to find that solo here. Nick Chu really wanted that tower, but at the end of the day, if you give that shutdown over, it's actually more gold to the side of For Fun. Corruption trying to find an angle, but doesn't even have the ultimate available, so I don't think there's much to be had in plays there. Youngbloods have slowly been clawing their lead back using the team play again. When Job Seekers had their back to the wall, it really counted to just rely on each other and make the plays as a team to come back into the game versus these solo carry S teams. Right now, SQZ has to try and find his opportunities to punish Youngbloods before they just start grouping as 5, and I think if they start grouping as 5 with that Lissandra, with that Sejuani, it's going to be so hard for him to get the plays he wants. Looks like he is going towards that Mercurial though, and Null Magic Mantle. I actually saw him sell his Vamp Scepter straight away, so he really wants to get it. He really wants to get towards that item, but that still feels pretty bad. Selling a Vamp Scepter, you probably only get like maybe 500 gold in return. So there's actually a lot of gold lost. You basically lost a kill doing that.
Yeah,
look at Artur's damage. He actually drops a lot of damage onto this Kindred. This Kindred is a glass cannon. We have to remember she's completely reliant on that ultimate, and yeah, not able to find that Lissandra split pushing there.
Hopefully he should be able to itemize a little bit more tanky.
Diane is done here. The beautiful Urgot ultimate from downtown to secure. Almost picks up Artur, but he doesn't drop the ignite there, so there's basically no shot at finishing him off here. SQZ now in the mid lane, pinging, wants to try to get some picks off, but they're already long gone here. The perfect ice, and now Youngbloods are going to be setting up for their next dragon.
Yeah, and it's going to put a bit of pressure onto Team FF. A lot of teams seem to crumble when it comes to a 3rd or 4th dragon, and they're forced into a decision. But intelligently enough, they're actually looking at Baron at the same time. So we'll just have to see what their macro play is like. But Youngbloods usually answer whenever there's another enemy team nearby.
Oh,
so
they don't even know the Kindred's there. They've actually completely missed it. Artur's looping back around, looking to find the lockdown on this Kindred. The target is on the Kindred's back here. They're ignoring the rest of the team, chasing her down. But Keltalis trying to bail out his jungler might be the option here for them. Looks like they're trying to get out. It's done, gets caught by the Sejuani ult. But look how split this fight is. We're all over the shop here. Big Budu Troy tries to find a hook. That goes wide. Look at the Tristana ult to peel back. Nichu still wants it. He's flashing in, but he's going to get turned back around. And yeah, they're going to try to get out of there. Luckily for them, Diana wasn't there with ultimate. Otherwise, when they were stacked up as 5, that would have been disastrous.
That would have been a dream come true for Corruption.
Yeah.
But a QSS actually coming out of Kindred here, so very intelligent buy. Hopefully they look into Blade the Ruin King next to deal with these frontline members of Youngbloods. But they recognize they need to take this dragon now. They can't afford to give away another one to Youngbloods, so they're not pressured into a very bad decision later on in the game.
Yeah, I think they're going to get it. Nichu's not close enough. The smite does come through, but Django's frontlining through, trying to kill Kelthalis. He lands the ult on him there. He's going to go down and find the big fear onto the side of For Fun. SQZ is trying to find the damage through. He drops the ultimate. He's keeping his support alive, but he just doesn't have the damage in this team fight scenario. Greedo almost drops to the Lissandra passive, but yeah, ends up getting out there by the skin of his teeth, and they're actually looking towards this Baron, which they have plenty of time to do.
So very unfortunate buy from Corruption. So usually Zhonya's would be correct in nearly all cases of any teamfight game, but Corruption's goal should be to do as much damage as possible. So I would have liked to seen a more aggressive buy outside of Zhonya's, but yeah, like you said, SQZ definitely has a tough task ahead of himself. trying to deal with all these tanky frontline members, and hopefully they can get to the later stages of the game where they can kind of catch up in terms of itemization. But Youngbloods, they've clawed their way back into this game.
Yeah, carrying on Viego, I think, is a lot easier than carrying on this Kindred. With that reset mechanic, this Kindred basically only has that one life bar. You got to do all you can with it. But yeah, with all the CC and the targeted options they have, with that Lissandra just clicking R, dealing so much damage with stray hits, it's going to be so difficult for this Kindred here. I want to check over and see how many marks he's sitting on. He's finally got 4 marks too. I think this has really been biting him too, because a Kindred with maybe 8 marks here is actually doing a lot of damage to these frontliners, but he actually wasn't picking up many marks in the early game despite all the kills. So it's not helping him at all dealing with these tanks with that % health damage.
Yeah, and it's very tough for FF to actually just survive the initial frontline CC and damage coming out of Youngbloods. Hopefully, Kindred can itemize a little bit better. Hopefully, you could see a more aggressive purchase coming out. Being that far ahead of the game, I'm not sure if a Lord Doms was essentially the right choice, but I guess it was for the later stages of the game. But we'll just see how it pans out. Hopefully, Ornn can accelerate this Kindred even further, as the other 2 carries are quite behind by a considerable margin.
Yeah, I think he knew it was going to be the front-to-back option in Team Bias. He had no choice but to go through these tanks, and Lord Doms is definitely the best in slot there. Blade of the Ruined King probably being a close second, but yeah, it's just too tanky. Look how much armor the Sejuani has itemized with the Aftershock with that passive. She's going to be sitting on upwards of 300 armor. It's a very tall task to get through.
Once they get the Frozen Heart, it's going to be very hard for FFF to get through this Sejuani in general.
Yeah, it's difficult, very difficult, but they still have... I'm actually so surprised that this Ornn has upgraded the Tristana's item over the Kindred's. I think that is just disrespectful to SQZ and everything he's been trying to achieve.
He's done, yeah.
Yeah, but... regardless, this Tristana has a little bit of a stat boost now, and honestly, if you look at the items, this Tristana's not even super far behind the Kindred. He's got the core items there. Kindred just has a little bit extra on top to help survive, so I'm looking towards this Tristana to at least try and make some plays. But Youngbloods are not biting it at all. They know how mid priority works. They don't have vision. They don't have vision on that vision ward in the pit, so they just look like fools because they know they're not on Baron. Because there's a ward on the Baron pit they just haven't checked.
But Lucian's out of position here a little bit.
So yeah, they try and make a play on the mid. They get the mid priority back, but I'm surprised Youngbloods isn't playing more aggressive into this.
Yeah, and Team FF should realize they can actually take Baron relatively quickly here. So if they can clear out that pink ward, they can force Youngbloods to make a decision, but they're not biting like you mentioned, and they're going to pretty much go for this third dragon and force Team FF to answer.
Yeah, I think the Dragon Soul is the safe route out. They're not pulling the trigger on any Baron plays yet, but with how big their XP leads are, like Django's level 15 right now is so strong, and there's not too many champions that can take him down. The Kindred and the Tristana just tickle him. He's been able to itemize a lot of armor. Honestly, no, he hasn't. He's actually only got the Frozen Fist, but I think as soon as this Urgot builds a Bramble Vest or something like that, it just becomes that much more difficult to take him down. So honestly, this Urgot looks super tanky, but I think if Kindred gets on him, he's going to be a lot easier to take down than that Sejuani.
Yeah, yeah. And
this is what I worry about. He's actually face checking, but he doesn't go for the play. He didn't know Django was alone. Yeah, they do realize they're outnumbered here. The Ornn wasn't there, but he has TP. I would have just gone for that play. I don't think that situation could get any better for you. The Urgot with not too much armor. If I click on him, he's got 130 armor. That Lord Dominic's is definitely going to be tearing through that armor there. He definitely had an opportunity, but unfortunately he doesn't go for it. If we look over at this Sejuani's armor in the meantime, sitting on 400, yeah, I don't think I don't think the 35% armor pen is going to help you too much there. But definitely versus that Urgot would have been helping him do a lot more damage. Kelthalis might be the victim
stacking.
here. Artor's going after the Kindred, but nope, doesn't have to commit to anything. Both teams just trying to find the Baron cheese the camp, but they're getting destroyed by these wards in the pit that they just don't know about. Both teams just have a ward, placing wards in the pit right under each other's noses. That has just completely given away their plans.
And it's really tough to watch when they don't clear vision correctly. They're just pretty much playing tag your it or hide and seek, waiting for someone just to overstep just a little bit. But vision reigns king. Hopefully one team can actually prioritize vision over the other. But at this stage, they're just pretty much in a stalemate.
The theory isn't too difficult, right? I understand maybe one of them didn't have a vision ward in the pit, but that's basically what you want to do. If you're ever having a Baron dance, just drop a vision ward in the pit. Even if they blue trinket it, it's going to get denied after a couple seconds. And you're going to spot out any cheesy wards that are stopping, the vision game. But as long as you have that ward in the pit, you can play the Baron dance all day, because as long as they're not hitting that Baron, that you don't care. As long as that Baron's not dying, there's no reason to be worried.
Yeah, and it's a bit tough because Greedo and Shifting have actually sat on level 12 for the last couple of minutes and haven't really moved in terms of XP. Guessing that both teams are literally waiting for someone to make a mistake at Baron or the next Dragon. But at this stage, they're pretty much just going neck and neck, and nothing's really going to transpire, I guess, until the other Dragon comes up, unless someone oversteps.
Yeah, and look, they're trying to move up as a unit here for fun, trying to find their way, but I don't think they're going to commit to it. Looks like they're going for the hook, and he chooses actually caught out here. He has a lot of armor though that Nordis is following, but he's just going to drop the flash. If that was any other champion, probably going down, but 400 armor keeps him well and truly alive there. With the aftershock, it's probably even more disgusting, but yeah, this Sejuani is just so tanky in that front line.
Just base tanking 4 people is definitely a good feeling when you know you can pull it off.
Yeah, but they have a moment to try punish back. Django here might get caught out, doesn't quite find the slow onto him, so he's able to dash out of there. Kindred actually continues to go. Nordis continues to look, and like I said, look at this damage on the Django. No armor on this Urgot. He's going to get absolutely torn to shreds by that Kindred.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, Sejuani definitely put in a better performance in the tank
6
test.
autos.
But
6 autos Django went down. Oh, that's crazy.
And yeah, it looks like we're pulling off more vision game. This time they don't have vision on Baron, and this is where you will succeed. Big Buddha Troy unfortunately has to be the one to face check. And here comes Corruption setting up. Look at the wombo combo. Diana ult into the Ornn ult. They're trying to find the kills. The Kindred ult, the Zhonya's to keep each other alive. Artur, Zhonya's himself trying to keep alive. Greedo using the heal, surviving by the skin of his teeth. Calipharis doesn't find the knock-up, so unfortunate, and Lucian is going to find the kill there. No, this is going in though, he wants to find this Hawk. He ends up getting his ult back up, and the Hawk with the Kindred follow-up is surely going to spell his demise, and it sure does. He goes down there, and Youngbloods make a little bit of a slip now, and all of a sudden, they have a shot back at this game. The gold is now even between the two teams. Kindred should be looking to pick up her mark here on the exit, but she's not playing around it. I believe every 2 marks on that Kindred you end up getting, no, every 3 marks. Yeah, still 5 marks on Kindred is not an impressive amount by any means here. Unfortunately, just
be on 8 or 9 by now. Yeah,
hasn't been picking up any of these marks during. She's been killing. I think she's even from the jungle camp. She's only gotten 2 or 3. It's just been a really tough game for Kindred and her marks here. And if she picked up this last one here, then maybe she gets that 3rd mark for that extra range, and that extra range means so much playing into these short range champions like Lucian and Lissandra. You can start to keep them at bay with your extra range, but unfortunately doesn't have access to that, and now they've got a strong foothold into this next dragon.
Yeah, I believe we came out of sync the last minute or so. Can you tell me your timer?
Yeah, I'm at 3, 2, 5, 2, 5, 3, 54.
Alright, I'm on.
Apparently there's a fight breaking out though.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Voodoo Troy getting caught out, but they're starting the dragon, they're just going for it. The jungler isn't there to pick up, and they get the mountain soul, but can they find the fight afterwards? This fight means a lot. If they win this fight, they could potentially win the game. This means a lot for Youngbloods' 5. SQZ taking the whole culling, and he ends up not dropping the ultimate. He doesn't have it. He goes down. Can they find the rest of the fight? Corruption tries to drop the ult onto Spingding. He's getting kited out by that Lucian. They find Mixu on the front line, but Artur and Spingding, the carries, have stayed alive. Triple kill for Artur. Quadra kill for Artur. Can he get in range? He has teleport, but there's no wards for him to get. He's trying to chase down Greedo. He's trying his hardest. Can he get in range? Greedo, unfortunately, had a blast cone there. So he's not going to find the pentakill.
Wow, that was close. Wow. So Artua's passive is just absolutely bonkers. Just did so much damage in that team fight. Just a bit of a oopsie by Kindred on it. SQZ, just taking that culling to the face. Wasn't good.
Like playing front to back, eventually your tanks are going to die, and Sandra is going to use those tanks against you with that passive here. So the carriers definitely have to be careful around that. Because the fight may look even, but it'll start to have that pseudo reset mechanic. It'll snowball a lot harder once the Sandra actually gains access to her passive. It can nuke you with how much gold this Lissandra is sitting on.
Yeah, she's sitting on heaps, but before we go any further, what's your timer again, Bladex?
I'm at 3, 4, 30, 31, 32.
Oh, wow, I'm 10 seconds out.
Yeah, a little bit desync, but there's nothing going on now, so we have time to...
Yeah.
31,
31, 32,
43,
33, 34,
10 seconds
35, yep, 37, 38, 39, 40, 1,
I'm
2,
just pause. Yeah, just keep counting me in.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2,
Alright, we're synced
3.
up. We are
Cool.
synced up now. And Kelthalis finds himself in the face of Django. They're just trying to scare each other a bit, as this Baron is definitely going to be the target of both teams, but this gold lead is in the favor of Youngbloods, and having the extra Mountain Soul is just so important for these frontliners here. And yeah, they're playing the Division game correctly this time. The Division Ward's in there, they just immediately jump on it. And Grub Shen's on the other side of the map, Greedo's on the other side of the map. It's long gone by this point. Youngblood's just too decisive. It looks like they're still going for it. They're going all or nothing on this play, but unfortunately there's nothing to be had here. Artor's looking for the engage now. Nice flash from Django. Beautiful stuff to catch out the support. And now they're going to barrel down mid with a 5v4
Oh, this is
advantage.
a big play.
Doesn't have flash, unfortunately, otherwise he'd definitely go in. I don't know if Greedo's trying to sacrifice himself or why he's running that way, but he is. But he's dodging for now. Eventually, Artur says enough is enough, drops the ult, takes them down, and Sping Ding is pretty far ahead of his team, but SQZ can't quite catch up. Nixu tries to find the knockup, the SQZ is going to drop the ultimate, but he's in a really bad position here. Surely he goes down. And no, he lives out with a slither of health. But Youngbloods are still standing strong there, all 5 members with Mountain Soul, and it is just going to be curtains. The Kindred is not going to be there in time. Finally shows up, but the fight is all but done here. Good game. Youngbloods end up taking over what looked like a scary start, but they play around the one carry of for fun, and they deliver in the end.
So very good macro play there in the end, coming out of Youngbloods. Forced FF to make a decision, and they made a bad one, unfortunately. But nevertheless, congratulations to Youngbloods for pulling out the win at the end of the stream.
Yeah, it was looking pretty good there for fun. They might have slayed another Titan, but unfortunately Youngbloods knew what they had to do to get back into the game. They played through their win conditions. That Lucian got huge, and this Lissandra, who no one expected to be putting out the damage and carrying, ended up doing so much in those fights. I really want to look at the stats, but I think my client's going to dog me here.
So, yeah, on top is Artua with damage, edging out Kindred by about 1,000 points.
Yeah, I think with that quadra kill, that was super flashy. I was looking towards Artur for my MVP vote. Sping Ding, of course, being crucial carry. Plenty of cool plays coming from Django this game too. Fast Runner and Nixu playing solid as always, but yeah, I think Artur with that Lissandra, we haven't seen too much in this competition. He shows what the champion is capable of, and yeah, pulls off the quadra kill, puts out the damage, puts Lissandra on the map here, and yeah, I think he's my MVP vote. But what do you reckon?
I agree there. Nixu definitely did a good job trying to funnel this Lissandra as much as possible, and at the same time, Corruption trying to funnel SQZ on Kindred as well. But it seemed like Artur and Lissandra was able to edge it out, and win those team fights, lock down CC, just the ability to always be a threat with her ultimate. And the Team FF never really had a chance to jump Artua and burst her down before she could be caught out, essentially, but was able to play the champion pretty well. So yeah, MVP goes to Artua and Lissandra.
Yep, and SVP, I think, again, is another one of these, like, against all odds performances. Rest of the team, for fun, were getting kicked down. That was one player challenging Youngbloods, and SQZ tried to do it on that Kindred, but unfortunately, just like Keratine, they ended up falling right before the finish line there. Tried their best, but yeah, definitely good play. Just set up a lot of good plays in the early game, got so far ahead, but just again, those Kindred marks weren't coming through to help him snowball. So at the end of the day, I don't think he was able to pull out that victory. But it's definitely a close effort there.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. FF did make some critical mistakes, which essentially cost them the game, from Kindred taking a culling to not really drafting towards the Kindred if that was their goal in the first place. And hopefully SQZ can look back and why didn't I pick up those marks, or why did I eat that culling? Why didn't I ult? Yeah. Being in that position, you have to make those plays, but as soon as you fall down, then your team seems to follow, because that's where your gold is, essentially. So a bit unlucky coming out of Team FF that Kindred wasn't able to perform when it really mattered, and Youngblood's taking and capitalizing on it.
Yeah, and even though they weren't really drafting for it, the Youngbloods had a beautiful composition to deal with one Fed member, and yeah, they dealt with that Kindred pretty well in the early team fights. Just didn't allow it to do anything. Forced out itemization like Mercurial, or the QSS rather, to just stop this Kindred from being a DPS threat. And yeah, it just became so hard for it to do anything into that composition. So beautiful stuff there from Youngbloods. They keep their position on top. For fun, still clawing their way up the ladder, but they're going to have to look to take down some other teams, but that is all we have for tonight here. So I'll run us through the schedule on Saturday, guys. We have some more games lined up. We're going to start off with AD Astra again playing versus Purple Cobras at 3 p.m, but then we have Destiny versus Jupies at 4 p.m, and at 5 p.m, we have GPs versus Job Seekers, so cast the show down there at the very end.
For sure.
So get to see some top of the table games at the end there, top 4 teams facing off each other. So hopefully you guys tune in near the end of Saturday, but some of you might already be on the booze or something from the press start. That's a perfect segue, actually, guys. Let me just go over to that post. We have a little bit more time here. Make sure you guys are showing up to this event on Saturday. The press start event, GG Social Club, Next Tier Gaming and Esports, teaming up to bring you the mid-season party here. You guys can read the poster yourselves. There's so much going on that night. If you're not too into going out, but you're into games and stuff like this might be the perfect segue for you guys to just get out, have a drink, play with your mates. Tons of stuff to do there, just socialize. It's pretty good opportunity for you guys to get out and about. And yeah, I know myself, I've been waiting for an opportunity like this, so you'll catch me there. But who knows for how long, because the night is young, many more parties to attend. So we'll see, guys. But hopefully I'm able to catch some of you guys there at the event on Saturday. But yeah, without much else to mention there, thanks for participating in this stream, guys. Plenty of chat interaction as he spits, talking a lot there. Kyle White, as always, showing up to the street, just showing up to the streams. Love the interaction, guys. Hopefully I produced a decent enough stream tonight. I'm looking at my stream the whole way. It's not freezing up like last time, so getting somewhere at least. Not embarrassing ourselves. But yeah, with that out of the way, I'm pretty sure we can just close off here. Do you have anything else to mention, Chris?
Quite a long stream, but we'll just close it off with hopefully we see you guys on Saturday. Show your support for the local community and the local esports and gaming scene in general at 6 p.m. So I hope to see you there.
Yeah, sweet. With that out of the way, we are going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to fade out to some music. We will catch you on the next stream.
Till next time.